Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the Royal Commonwealth Pool here in Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. We are here for session 3 of the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2024, the 25th anniversary of this swim meet, so it's going to be a special night, the first finals session of this 2024 championship. My name's Paul Noble, I'll be taking you through the action tonight, and alongside me in the commentary box, Jack Thorpe is joining me again, as we always seem to do at the Edinburgh International, Jack.
Yeah, indeed. No, it's great to be back. Thanks very much, Paul. Yeah, it's fantastic opportunity to be back here watching the racing in the 25th edition of this championships. I mean, what a history it's been over the last 10 years, let alone the last 25 overall. I mean, huge amount of big names, countries, Olympic champions have come through the Edinburgh International, and we look at the agenda, the schedule on this evening. I think again there's some big names across the board and some really exciting races to come.
Absolutely, some great races we're looking forward to tonight. We start off with the fastest heats of the male and open 1500 metres freestyle. We didn't see these swimmers in any of the sessions to qualify today. We had a session this morning and a session this afternoon, but these 1500 metre freestylers haven't swum yet, so a bit of an unknown quantity going into that first event. All the others, well, we've got junior finals, we have got B finals, and we've got what they call super finals this time, Jack.
Yeah, super finals. I like the sound of a super final. That extra level of grandeur to it,
It's, and again, as you said, some big names in that 100 backstroke for the female swimmers. Kathleen Dawson is up against Medley Harris. That could be a real head-to-head, couldn't it?
Oh yeah, looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a great race. I think they both look strong performances in the heats. It'll be a good head-to-head.
Oliver Morgan set a new meet record for the Edinburgh International, the fastest 100 backstroke for a male swimmer that we've seen in 25 years, so a swimmer very much on form. It's a big head-to-head again in the 200 butterfly. Kiana McInnes and newly crowned world champion Laura Stevens in that one, 200 butterfly.
Indeed, yeah. Really looking forward to that as well. And then we've got the male 200 freestyle to follow. Which again, some big names in that event. Ones we're all recognised, the likes of Duncan Scott. A few of the swimmers there. Jack McMillan from Stirling as well, his teammate Kieran Bird, again some international contingent as well.
The 50 freestyle is skins, and as is the 50 metres butterfly. And as the lights are dimmed here in the arena, remaining events, female 400 freestyle, should be a good contest as well. We've got the 200 metres breaststroke for men. James Wilby goes in that one. Expect good things from James Wilby tonight. And we finish off the session with 200 metres individual medley, I should say, and also the 100 metres breaststroke for women. Again, some big names. Cara Hanlon goes in that one, Scottish record holder Cara Hanlon. It's been in great form the last couple of years, but she won't have it all her own way.
No, she won't. Again, that'll be a really strong heat from Cara, but she's going to have, I think, a bit of competition to come, the likes of Ingrid Evans, and I think that'll be a good head-to-head to look forward to right at the end.
Yeah, and Duncan Scott finishes things off in the 200 metres individual medley, amongst others going in that final of the evening. So, lots to look forward to as always, my goodness.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good thing to kick things off. They always do a great job with the atmosphere at this event, dimming the lights, getting the crowd in that mood for some fast racing. But we start things off with more of a chilled, controlled, I say chilled and controlled, I'd like to think so, compared to the 50 splash and dash. But we have the 1500, as we said, with these swimmers not having raced yet, so all we can go off is the entry time, so we'll see who's on form and who's not, and what sort of shape we're in. Again, it's a bit of a funny time of year this potentially for some, because this meet is a qualification window event, so for a lot of the international swimmers they may well be focusing on this as a targeted competition, whereas the British athletes in particular, they'll have their trials very soon, so this is more of a last tidy up meet, a last sort of tick the boxes before the big taper. So again, who knows where people will be. 3
weeks to go till the Olympic trials as well. We saw some para swimmers as well. We don't have any para swimmers tonight, but we saw some para swimmers swimming in this afternoon's heats, so they have the Paralympics and Olympic trials in the first week in April are combined this time. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a good way to kind of bring things forward and incorporate more inclusive overall, I think. But I think here we go with the first event walking out.
So as we look at the pool, as you'll see it all night, lane 1 will be closest to us and lane 8 will be furthest away. First swimmer we will see, real international field to start us off with this fastest heat of the 1500 freestyle. Dennis O'Brien from Swim Ireland will be the first one to march out. Just waiting for the appointed time. I think we're just about there. 5:30 local time here in Edinburgh. And here comes Dennis O'Brien. Very young field. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, Jack. It's only a couple of swimmers that are not teenagers. Tiago Gomez from Eindhoven, Brazilian, swimming for Eindhoven. He's the son of 17-year-old Jack Munsey, Stirling University, the 21-year-old in lane 3, the favourite. Ligue Vert, Emile Vincent, French swimmer, very much the fastest entry time. Cameron Travis from University of Aberdeen Performance in 5. Luke Hornsey, Edinburgh University, he goes in 6. Josh Denham from Newcastle in 7. And Ben McLaughlin from Geary will go in the outside lane. A little bit of a range of times here, Jack. The Ligue Vert swimmer, Emile Vincent, 15:22.78 is his entry time. Goes all the way down to Ben McLaughlin, 16:20.40. So a minute separating the swimmers in this fastest heat.
Yeah, it is a real breadth of the times there, like you said, and again, it does really maybe reflect the age of the field as well. Like we said, sort of 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds in the outside lanes, and to be fair to Emile in the centre lane, he is 19, so there's only a couple that are just over the 20 mark. So it's again a very young field, but I think a lot of these swimmers will be doing the 1500 for quite a while. I think you find a lot of the youngers, they start in the distance events and kind of build their way up. It's more of a specialised as they move forward, but I think at this sort of level they are very much focused on this as the main thing. You might have a few 400 swimmers, 800 swimmers swimming up. I think that's with the likes of Luke Hornsey, for example. He's more of a 400 swimmer coming in with a 15, so yeah, we'll see who's who.
Yeah, we'll get us underway with the longest event of the schedule here over the next 3 days. Another 2 days of competition for us to enjoy. The Edinburgh International taking place over today and also Saturday and Sunday. So lots more action to come. And, well, what are we looking forward to here? People just settling into that initial first 50 metres. It's a pretty even start for everyone, and I'm sure we'll see things kind of separate out as we get into the races. First to the wall there, Luke Hornsey, just 2/100ths ahead of Emile Vincent, Tiago Gomez in third place, and Jack Munsey in 4th position. But yes, early days, Jack. People feeling their way. I mean, what's the kind of tactics for the guys in the middle? We know that Emile Vincent with that entry time of 15:22, he's much faster, quite far ahead of anyone else in the field. So swimmers around him, I mean, what's their tactics? What are they going to be doing?
Yeah, well, I think everyone will have their own race and own tactic to go on, but I feel especially in the distance races you do push on a bit and you can really look around a lot more and kind of feel out the field, as it were. I think for the most part, when I did back in the day partake in 1500s, it was a long time ago now, but I remember breaking it down into 500 metre segments because it was a nice way to break up the race. I know some athletes do 3 lots of 400, then a 300 at the end, different ways to go about it. But what I would say, looking at the most recent championships in Doha, you know, a handful of weeks ago, there's a lot of discussion tactically around leg kick, or lack of leg kick in particular. It was that sort of approach to some of the top athletes. Daniel Whiffen, for example, from Ireland, some fantastic swims. A lot of the focus was on really reserving your energy. It's sort of that long loping stroke, really maximising the range and the efficiency of the stroke and keeping those legs relaxed. Just keeping the legs up enough, keeping the body up. And as you can see in lane 4, Emile's doing a really good job of that, just nice and relaxed. Good rotation around the wall. You know, we do need to think about the skills and making up time when you can, but he's getting nice long loping stroke. He's holding around the 30 points there, so if we're looking at his entry time of 15:22, if he can hold 30 mids to 30 lows, he could be in a good position to be challenging that.
Yeah, it's going to be bang on. Obviously, if he averages 30 all the way through, it's going to be bang on that 15-minute mark, so we'll just keep an eye on his splits as we go through. You'll see the splits of the swimmers will appear on the graphics there, and that 30.99 is the split for the last 50 that they have swum. So you'll see there he has stretched away just over a second ahead of that time set by Luke Hornsey for his previous 50. So 30.99 for Emile Vincent, and the second place swimmer 32.17. So it is, well, just over a second of an advantage that he has maybe eked out there on that 50 alone. So we can expect that gap to increase as we go through there. Another second that the Frenchman has taken out of Luke Hornsey there, and that's he's going to make that pay over the 1500 distance, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think he's going maybe. I mean, like we say, this is roughly on pace. It's maybe a bit quick for this stage, considering that 15:22. All things said, the average would be around a 31 point or 31.3, 30.4. So being in the 30 points now, again, he might be paying for it. But again, we don't know what shape he's in. He potentially may well be on due for a good time here. But if he holds the 31 lows or 30 points high, he's going to be in a great position to do that. But you do notice a bit of an increase in his tempo there, actually, considering the first few 50s, the actual stroke rate, so the time it takes for the arms to cycle round both the left and the right arm, has increased just partially, as the eye observes at least. So yeah, we'll see if this is part of the tactic. Again, you might be pushing hard to establish a position. Again, you can really feel out the race. You're well ahead, you're in control. Back off in the middle portion potentially, and then sort of rebuild, increase the tempo. Again, really with a 1500, you want to be trying to as evenly split as you can. You know, that negative split across, if you can, the 750 meters approximately. So yeah, we'll see, but it's kind of settling out as we predicted. Very clear first and second at the moment, but third still up for grabs. Still a good challenge going on there.
Probably maybe about 3 or 4 swimmers all in a row. Thiago Gomez there in lane number 2, Jack Munsey in lane 3. Going over now in lane 5 is Cameron Travis, but there is the leader, Neil Vincent, still with that low 31. This is a good display so far. As you said, Jack, we don't really know we know what the British targets are for some of these swimmers, for some of the top swimmers. They'll be looking at the Olympic trials, so expect them to be peaking at that time, but we don't know what the French are looking at. We don't know about the Danes that are here. The Irish as well have got a big contingent. It's real international flavour.
Exactly. I mean, this is an Olympic qualification window, and like we discussed at the start, this is a time when nations will select this meet as their qualification standard. So, you know, we're looking at Emile. He was second at the French Nationals recently, second at both the long course and short course championships. So he's more than capable of producing a world-class time that is the low 15 minutes. And again, he could well be putting himself in contention, holding this pace. Again, just over that 31 point, another excellent swim. He's kind of held on to his consistency now. We're kind of settling into the kind of high 30s, low 31s.
He's been incredibly consistent there.
Yes,
what was it? There was a couple of 31.10s he's done.
Yeah.
In fact, he was exactly the same as he was going down this way the last time. So 2 splits, the last 2 splits exactly the same, 31.10. Let's see what he gets this time as he hits the bottom end at the 600 metre mark. Well, 31.2. Just slipping very slightly, but not by much.
No, not at all. Just sort of holding that sort of 3 or 4 beat kick. Again, not going to his legs at all really, which is good to see. Nice long stroke, breathing every 2 to his right. Again, you might see the distance swimmers change up the breathing from a tactical perspective to look around and see what's going on. There might be an every 3rd breath potentially just to look and see what's going on, but for the most part they will stick to an every 2 stroke pattern because it's the most efficient overall to hold at this distance. Again, you look at other races, the distance off the wall is maximised, but in the longer events you really find the athletes coming straight up, because if you hold too far underwater, the lactic acid will build up and it can actually be counterintuitive and slow you down at the end. So that's again the interesting tactics that come in the distance events.
Yeah, you just got to balance things up in these distance events, and a very experienced campaigner. I know he's only 19 years of age, but when you're swimming somewhere in the kind of low to mid 15 minutes, that's not hanging about, is it?
No, that's really taken a step towards, like we said, that world-class standard. I mean, I think anything sub 15 minutes is right up there with the best in the world. I mean, sort of the really top is kind of the push into the mid 14s at the moment, but there's very few athletes that are pushing that level. I mean, anything close to the 15 minute is an exceptional swim, and 15:30, you know, very high FINA points as well in particular, which is of course a factor in a meet like this. There's prizes up for grabs in the top FINA point categories, so not that that's why we swim, but it's a nice perk of things if you can.
Yeah, it's a nice accolade if you can achieve it. Those top FINA points, of course, will be done on Sunday afternoon after all the events are confirmed. So, Vincent is just about holding on to that one as he goes over at the halfway point, holding on to the pace that he's set over the first half of this one. That's the 800 mark. He's into the second half now, 31.25. So he's been there or thereabouts. In second place it is Luke Hornsey, who looks like he's clear in second position at the moment. Good battle for third place between Cameron Travis, and it looks like Tiago Gomez as well, just battling there for third place. And in fact, Gomez just ahead of Travis as they go through at the 800 mark. But there, we're getting some great shots here from the camera people today. Some good head-on shots of the swimmers. And that's a cracker for Emil Vincent. Just slipping slightly off now, 31.43. And he's going to have to work hard to try and keep that pace now, Jack.
Yeah, well, we did say that at the start. There was a few 30-point mids that we were speaking about that he might have pushed a little bit too hard. Again, maybe it's the adrenaline, like we spoke. It was his first swim of the competition. He didn't do the heat, so you don't have the advantage of kind of feeling out where you're at. You're in the arena for the first time. The adrenaline can take over a little bit, but we'll wait and see what he does here, see if he responds. Again, he's just slightly slipping off. It's nothing major. There's still well within contention to be pushing his best time, but he will be close if he holds on to those 31 mids. It might just slip into the 15:30 range.
Luke Hornsey is going over in second, 31.5. So he's now kind of pacing just about a tenth of a second slower than Emil Vincent. So Luke Hornsey maintaining that pace that he's kind of gone through.
Yeah, well, Luke Hornsey was in the 32s actually for a while, so he's actually dropped down into the 31 mids, which is good to see. It's a bit of a shift in the gear there. Again, you don't know the sort of tactics that individuals are applying here. There might be sort of negative splitting potentially. They're trying to push through into the second half. What I will say is that the clear sign of the sprint finish will be the bell, and you'll see the legs come into play a lot more in the final 100 metres, 50 metres or so. It's always a bit of a sprint finish.
Yeah, everybody seems to get a spurt from that bell, don't they? A little burst of energy at the end.
I'm not sure how much energy I'd have at the left of a 1500, but something clearly.
Well, Vincent again, 31.5. We just saw him go down to 31.2, and he's back up to 31.5 again.
Yeah.
As he goes to the 1,000 metres, he's got this one very much in control. Luke Hornsey there with 31.47. So again, pretty similar splits for the two leaders. Looks like Tiago Gomez in third position, just holding off the challenge of Cameron Travis.
Yeah, it's a comfortable 1, 2, 3 currently. Slightly not as comfortable for third, but it's thereabouts. But yeah, like for the likes of Emil in first at the moment, it's very much a race against the clock if you can challenge that entry time of 15:22. But yeah, he's looking okay. What I have noticed, seems to drift over on this second side. He's drifting from side to side, and again, when you think about, we're speaking about 31.5, 31.2, then a 31.5 again. These tenths add up across a 1500, and again, going from lane side to lane side, that's several meters by the end of the race. So it's maybe a bit of a tactical decision to think about in the future to try and hold more of a centre position or stick to one lane side in particular. But again, these are minor details at the end of the day from what is an excellent swim so far. Again, I think a real increase in tempo again there, actually looking at it.
Yeah, he's beginning to up that stroke rate slightly. What has he gone over this one? 31.63 for the leader. And that is 11.50. It'll be 300 metres to go when he hits that bottom end. Luke Hornsey still in second position, still in third place. It is Tiago Gomez, the Brazilian swimmer based in Eindhoven. But, well, it's been a cracking swim at the front of the field from Emil Vincent. It's all about him and the clock. 15:22.78 was the time that he posted as an entry time. Not sure that he is going to achieve that. He's gone over that 1200 in 12:26. So it's going to have to be a very swift last 300 if he's going to challenge that entry time. But I think you're right, Jack. It's going to be somewhere, might be under that 15:30, which would be a cracking swim again.
No, it would indeed. If you can, I think that'll be the next logical target now. But you never know. A couple hundred metres left. There might be a spurt of a sprint finish that saves a couple seconds. But no, there we go. 31.3 again. If you can keep this up, But again, the technique's slightly caving now, the stroke becoming a bit more loping, head coming up a little bit more. Again, you think about the efficiency of a 1500, you want to be as flat as possible, and that breath is taking a little bit of a toll on his speed overall. But again, not going to the legs very much, which is a good sign. Still holding on well, decent range to his stroke. See if he can turn over again, a 31 low. 31.9, bit of a drop off there.
Well, 200 to go for the leader, Emil Vincent of League of Air. He has a big lead over second position, Luke Hornsey. The lead is something like 14 seconds, so if we think the Frenchman's going to swim somewhere around about the 15:30, that means Luke Hornsey is going to be somewhere in the kind of mid 15:40s. So it would be a cracking swim for him.
That would be a considerable drop in his entry time of 15:53. So if you can be in and around that, that would be an excellent result overall. I mean, again, young lad focusing more on the 400 to my knowledge. So again, this is very much swimming up. 400 later in the meet, so this would be an excellent warm-up swim for him.
And he went out with the purpose, didn't he? He was almost on the shoulder, well, a couple of lanes across, but he was almost on the shoulder of Vincent in the early stages. And that's kind of seen him in good stead, isn't it? There's the bell for the last 100. And the Frenchman, 31.81, will just put absolutely everything into this last 100 now. Emil Vincent. See what Hornsey has. Again, he's on for a great time, Luke Hornsey.
Yeah, we'll both go into their legs. Luke in particular, just going out of shot, is really motoring through his legs now. It's a solid 6-beat kick. Emil's just struggling a little bit. He has gone to his legs, but I think those early first couple of hundreds, Paul, might have taken its toll now at these finishing stage. A 31.4, he might be able to finish in a sub 31 here. He is pushing hard, really driving in. I think he will be close to that sub 15:30, but not quite. It's been an excellent race overall, and a very clear 1, 2, 3 as it stands.
And it looks like Emil Vincent is going to take the first honours of this day one of the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2024, and he will take it in 15:34, 30.16 for that final 50. A little bit left in the tank. And Luke Hornsey coming in for second position, and he will finish in 29.05. Fantastic last 50 there, and 15.46. He'll be delighted with that time. That is an improvement on his entry time, so well done, Luke Hornsey. Tiago Gomez, 29.90 for him, 15.57, so he has dipped under the 16-minute mark. Always nice to get under these barriers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think Luke in particular will be really happy with that. It's a big result. Again, really motoring at the end, almost a sprint finish, a 29 low. That's a very solid last 50. Maybe left a bit too much left in the tank potentially.
Yeah, well, there you go. Could be a tactical ploy for the next time he swims that one, but Emil Vincent will take the honours. 15.34, he was very much the favourite, the young man from League of Air of France. And as the final swimmer comes in, that's Ben McLaughlin. Emil Vincent will be confirmed as the winner in first position. There's the confirmed results. Great swim from the Frenchman, 15.34. Luke Hornsey in second position for Edinburgh University. So a great swim from the top two, and Tiago Gomez from Eindhoven will claim the third position. And straight on, no rest for us here in the commentary position. It's the female 100 metres backstroke. As we said, we have junior finals, B finals, and then super finals for the fastest swimmers from the qualification.
Well, we're speaking about lack of distance off the walls in the 1500. It's the exact opposite in this event. You'll see most of the swimmers really pushing that 15-metre mark here, particularly in the super final, but I'm sure the junior athletes as well will be really stretching the distance off the walls, maximising that underwater. One of the fastest phases, if not the fastest phase of the race. Kind of real underwater specialist you see over the years in the backstroke events. It's always wonderful to see a great technique off the walls.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for those starts, those turns in this 100 backstroke. Again, we'll international flavour for this one. Matilda Muller closest to us for Hovedstaten's. Anna Tyers, Derby XL in 2, Libby Freeman from Morpeth in 3, Falcatin from Hovedstaten's in 4, Angelina Roman, Netherlands in 5, Katie Rose Warrender in 6, Emma Wood, City of Leeds in 7, and Catherine Renfrew, Perth City in lane number 8.
Well, it was a great start there from Angela. It's quite close across the field actually, really even Steven off the start for the most part. Potentially coming through in, I think it's lane 3, Libby Freeman stretching in towards, potentially going to get turned over. I think it will be.
Libby Freeman first to the wall there, 30.94. Falcatin just behind there, 31.30. So Falcatin have a couple of good swims this morning and this afternoon, and she was very strong in the closing stages. That red cap of Morpeth, Libby Freeman just holding on here, but I think Falcatin trying to come back now. The Hovedstaden swimmer in the centre lane, looks like she might just be edging it ahead of Libby Freeman, and I think it will be Falcatin into the wall first, and she comes in, the Hovedstaden swimmer from Denmark, the 103.66 for her, an improvement from her heat swim. And Libby Freeman also a big improvement for her, 104.07, and that was off a 105 from qualification this morning.
Yeah, went out with intent, love that, absolutely went for it and held on really strongly. I mean, Falca came back really strong there, nearly 0.8 faster than the rest of the field, but great swim for the top 2 there. And we move on to the B final.
Yeah, the B final quickly on the back of these swimmers as the junior final leave the water. You can see the swimmers for this B final. There we are, closest to us, Sophie Shaw, City of Manchester Aquatic, Florence Tinsley, Stirling University in 2, Melora Trompet from Liga Aver in lane 3, Ellen Walsh, Swim Ireland in 4, Manon Domingon from Liga Verne in 5, Jemima Hall, University of Bath in 6, Lottie Cullen from Swim Ireland in 7, and Neve Ward, University of Bath, right up there at the top. This is the B final. All the swimmers qualification for this B final in the 103 range, so it promises to be really close. Ellen Walsh from Swim Ireland, 103.14. Slowest into the final, Neve Ward, University of Bath, 103.76, so absolutely nothing in it. We do know that Ellen Walsh capable of going much faster. Entry time for this competition was 1:42, so the Irish swimmer may have a little bit more in the tank, but what a good start up there in lane number 7, and that's another one of the Irish swimmers, Lottie Cullen.
Yeah, again, you just don't know what the athletes have done in the mornings, potentially just mistimed the final, or the heats potentially I should say, and again, don't know what's left in the tank, but it's a really strong start there for Ellen in the centre lane. Anna, her compatriot, up there in lane 7, I think will be, yes it is Lottie that turns just ahead of Ellen. Those all important walls, both of them staying under. Very long time spent under there actually from Lottie Cullen. Really good wall. Ellen just turning up, ramping up the rate now as we come in. Stretching her lead somewhat now, over half a metre on either side. Looking really strong coming into the wall, Paul.
Yeah, it looks like Ellen Walsh might just take the lead here. Lottie Cullen just being caught by the swimmers alongside her. Going well out there in lane 8 is Neve Ward as well, but it is going to be Ellen Walsh first to the wall, 101.83. That's a good improvement from what she swam in the heat. She'll be happier with that swim. Neve Ward in 2nd and Lottie Cullen in 3rd position. So again, improvements there from the top 3. Neve Ward almost sneaked that one. She was finishing really fast in that outside lane.
She was indeed, really motoring over. Reminded me of a Craig McNally-esque type finish. Really seeing that rate going through the roof. Oh well, I think moving on now to the A final, or the super final I should say. I keep doing that, of the 100 backstroke.
We're going to be doing that all night, I think.
We will.
It's a super final. We'll be there. By the time it comes to Sunday, we'll have it all pat.
Really exciting final coming up here.
So the Bermuda swimmer Emma Harvey leads them out. She had a great swim in the heats. A couple of good swims this morning in the heats. Lottie Hosper from the Netherlands. Danielle Hill is one of the Irish swimmers who did make it into this final. The only one, in fact. Stirling University, Kathleen Dawson. Well, Kathleen Dawson, great to see her back on form. Back in the GB team, the World Championships just last month. Meddy Harris will be a big rival to Kathleen Dawson. And Katie Shanahan going over the 100 backstroke distance. Holly McGill in lane 7. Two Stirling University swimmers side by side. And Maria Godden, the second Irish swimmer. Two Irish swimmers, in fact, Danielle Hill and Maria Godden making that final.
Yeah, really great to see Kathleen back. Had a few injuries and a few actually ended up having surgery as well, so it's really good to see her back on form, like you say, and the likes of Meddy Harris and Danielle Hill on her side. Danielle Hill probably more of a freestyler, 50 freestyler specialist, but again able to turn herself to the 100 backstroke event. Good walls, comes in handy here in the backstroke event. Katie Shanahan, IM specialist. Holly McGill more of a 200, so again have a good second half. Really exciting race to come.
We saw Katie Shanahan do a couple of unusual events for her. She did the 50 freestyle, I think. She was doing a bit of breaststroke as well this morning, so
well, that's the
unusual events, but
it's the beauty of an IM swimmer, can turn your hand to anything.
So Katie Shanahan goes up there in lane 6. You wouldn't count her out, but the specialists, Kathleen Dawson in the centre, Meddy Harris as well in lane 4 and 5. They're in that yellow marked lanes. Kathleen Dawson, the British and Scottish record holder, 58.08 the time set by Kathleen Dawson. She would love to get under the 1 minute mark. She's going in lane 4. She's under threat now in the early stages. Danielle Hill off to a great start in lane 3.
It's an absolute electric first 15 metres there from Danielle Hill. She's blistering off the wall. I think Kathleen's going to have her work cut out for her here. Get a really good turn there. They're closing the field slightly now. Katie Shanahan, that long loping stroke. Meddy Harris coming through as well. Again, that longer stroke style. Danielle Hill really rotating fast now. Tempo's coming up. Kathleen closing in.
Well, 4 swimmers all in a row here. Danielle Hill just about holding on, I think. Kathleen Dawson trying to come back. Meddy Harris right in there as well. Katie Shanahan, who's going to get a touch? It is going to be Danielle Hill. Will take it. The Irish swimmer in 1 minute point 37. It was Shanahan in second position and Kathleen Dawson in third. Well, Danielle Hill, she certainly had that sprint speed in the early stages, and Katie Shanahan was right there. We did say not to discount Katie Shanahan, and she was right in there, wasn't she?
Yeah,
in the
she
mix.
was indeed. I mean, that was such a close finish there. So I mean, Daniel went out with such purpose in that first 50. Unbelievable first 50 there, and the others did close, but again, to her credit, she held on really well in the end.
Oh, great race there in that 100 backstroke. Didn't disappoint. And as the swimmers leave the water, the men's 100 backstroke will come into the junior final. You see Logan van der Meulen from Stirling in 1, Jack Doherty-Simpson, City of Glasgow in 2, Angel Exposito from Villafrance in 3, Lucas Brown, Stirling University in 4, Brendan Byrne from Swim Ireland in 5, Rhys Blackett in 6 from Newcastle, Callum Peebles, East Lothian in 7, and Harry Sharp, Warren de Baths in lane number 8. Oh, they're not giving us much time to hang about. They
coming thick and fast.
Not much time to talk about that great race for the female 100 backstroke. We're straight into the men's event. Again, promises to be a good one. Ireland, that excellent win in that previous race there. They've had a couple of good swims already tonight. The Irish team, they're here in numbers, and Brendan Byrne in lane number 5 for Swim Ireland is the representative in this one. Lucas Brown in lane number 4, off to a good start, just being pressed by Exposito from Villefranche, 1 lane down from him.
Well, Exposito's right on the lane line there, almost in the lane with him there as it comes round to the wall. Need to be careful going off underwater, but both again really good walls there. Again, potentially tactical, getting right in that lane line. It's actually lane 5 coming through really strong there. Brendan did an excellent turn. Again, tempo really increasing, rotating well. He's timed this very well. It's going to be a top 3 finish here.
Yeah, they are coming in again. Here comes Brown. He's trying to pull back on Byrne. It's going to be Brown and Byrne, but it is going to be Bryden Byrne into the wall. He stretches for that one. Exposito just gets the touch over Lucas Brown as well, but it was 0.4 of a second. He dived for that finish, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it was a really good wall there from Bryden Byrne. It was an excellent turn, and it really put him in a great position, and dropping under that 58 mark. You know, we talked about those barriers. 57, I'm sure he'll be really pleased with that. A big drop from his heat this morning.
So the run of the Irish continues. It's not going to continue in this one. No Irish representatives in this one. We have Jay Vries from Team Netherlands. We have Charlie Poole from Stirling University. George Whittle from Derby Excel. Niels Dijkshoorn from Team Netherlands. We have Jordan McPhail, Edinburgh University. Lucas Delal from Villefranche. Jamie Robertson, Stirling Uni. And Archie Evans, University of Bath.
Yeah, B finals are always a wee bit interesting because again, you just don't know if someone's gone a wee bit slower in the heats and potentially missed a super final. So you could see a few names in the outside lanes here potentially dropping. I know a few have got entry times that could definitely challenge what they've done in the heats here, but we'll see what's what. Again, across the board, it's mainly 57s in the heats. Again, maybe the centre lanes could challenge dropping into that 56, potentially the 57 lows.
Netherlands swimmer Niels Dijkshoorn in the centre lane in lane number 4 will be the marginal favourite. He was 0.2 ahead of anyone in the field, but again, as you said, Jack, we just don't know what kind of times the swimmers did in the heats, where they were in their swim. Jamie Robertson going out a very good start. Stirling University in lane number 7, taking Archie Evans with him in lane number 8, so might be the two at the top there. We go over first. Very close though. It is Evans first, George Whittle, Charlie Poole, Jamie Robertson, they're all together.
Yeah, really deep underwater there from Niels in the centre lane. It was kind of an inverse triangle as we headed into that first 50, but the outside lane's really smoking through, and it is the challenge from, I think it is it's Lucas and George respectively coming from the outside lanes, and it is going to be Charlie Poole as it stands, potentially coming into the closing finish here. Upper lane 2 and 3, George and Charlie really challenging. Is it going to be in the centre lane?
And it is Dijkshoorn who takes it, and Dijkshoorn coming through from well behind at the turn, and Niels Dijkshoorn, well, he was the pre-race favourite. He came through and he took it, 57.12, great second 50 there. Lucas Delal in second and Jamie Robertson in third position. Well,
yeah, well, George, I think George dropped off a wee bit there. I thought he was going to challenge for that second or third, but yeah, Niels came through really strong there, holding his class, paced it really well.
And we're in for another super final here. So we have swimmers just about to make their entrance to the pool. 100 metres backstroke, we saw an Edinburgh international record this morning set in the heats. And there's Dean Fern, Scottish junior record holder, Aberdeen Dolphins. He goes in lane 1. Brodie Williams, another experienced campaigner, University of Bath in 2. Scott Gibson, Edinburgh University, goes in 3. There's a new meet record holder, Oliver Morgan, in 4. John Short from Swim Ireland, he might pose a threat. He goes in lane 5. Jack Skerry from University of Bath in 6. Jamie Ferguson will go for the University of Aberdeen performance. And Hovedstaten's swimmer from Denmark, Lucas Dan Bremer.
Yeah, well, a few of the athletes here have got 53-point entry times, including Oliver Morgan, so if he can challenge that heat swim this morning, which I think he might be on form for another meet record. And Dean Fern, the 16-year-old in the outside lane, what a talent coming through. Again, 50 butterfly, we'll see him later on tonight as well. First up is the 100 backstroke. Again, you've got some big names coming in. Like
Oliver Morgan as well, he's been great over the last couple of years. I remember seeing him at the summer champs, the British summer champs, and he kind of swept the board in the backstroke, and then of course progressed to the GB team at the World Championships, and you know, he's going to be one in contention for a place in the Olympic team, definitely.
Yeah, and don't discount Scott Gibson. Scott Gibson had a great Bucks Championships. There's a 54 seed Commonwealth Games, 50 backstroke finalist. Again, more of a 50 specialist, but he's really focusing on the 100 this season. Again, you've got a mixture of 50 specialists and 200 here, so it'll be interesting to see the tactics coming down this first 50. Braced for some electric starts here.
Morgan with that red cap, who's going to be first to surface, who's going to the distance. Morgan did a good job there in lane number 4, and John Short in lane number 5. Scott Gibson right in there in lane 3 as well. Also not out of it, Jack Skerry, University of Bath. So it's the centre lanes really showing here as they go into the turn.
Yeah, well, I would expect it from Scott Gibson with his 50 pedigree, but Oliver Morgan, a fantastic first 50 and a 26.1 to feet. That is blisteringly quick and a really good underwater as well, maximising nearly a 13.5 metres there off the wall. He's powering through here. I think we're on form for a bit of a treat here, Paul, with this swim potentially.
Well, here comes Oliver Morgan. He's showing everyone the way home. Fantastic swim from Oliver Morgan from Birmingham University. Let's have an eye on the clock. 54.77 is the meet record. Not anymore. 53.69. And that has been broken again by Oliver Morgan. He has absolutely smashed it by over a second. And he looked absolutely supreme in that super final. 53.69 for the Birmingham man.
Did indeed. That was blisteringly quick down the first 50, and then he absolutely backed it up in the second. I mean, just looked in complete control there. That was a masterclass off the walls. Fantastic swimming. Closely followed. Brodie Williams coming back really strongly. Again, we talked about the 200 versus the 50. Scott Gibson holding on for that third place there, but again, opposite tactics are going on with the first 50 versus the second, but I think the other athletes will be pleased with the performance overall, but brilliant swim there for Oliver. And we move on, like we say, fast and furious onto the 200 butterfly.
Incredible time there from Oliver Morgan. 53.69, that's incredible at this time, isn't it? He's looking really good building into those Olympic trials.
Yeah, great for trials in a few weeks' time, 3 weeks' time or so. I mean, if he can hold on to that, build into that momentum, he's going to put himself in a great position for that.
British record still held by Liam Tancock, 52.73. That's a long-standing one, isn't it? It's got to be in his sights.
He's not a million miles away from it. He shaves off a few tenths here, a few tenths there. That's well within possibilities.
Well, back to the 200 metres butterfly. And we see the swimmers for the junior final. The oldest swimmer, Kirsty Gilmore from Hamilton, just 18 years of age. A couple of 15-year-olds in this one as well. Lane 1 closest to us, Isabel Fox from Derwentside. In lane 2, Kirsty Gilmore from Hamilton. In lane 3, Gabby Freeman from Morpeth. Alice Ward from Borough of Stockton goes in lane 4. Abigail Crawford, City of Glasgow in 5. Sarah Kravich from East Lothian in lane 6. Alice Cumming from City of Glasgow in lane 7. And I'm not sure if we have a lane 8, Jack. I think we've just got the 7 taking the start for this junior final.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alice had a really good swim this morning, actually. I mean, it was a 2-second drop in her entry time, so again, you can only assume that's well within pace, but it's a very quick first 50 there from Gabby in lane 3, going up with purpose. It's awfully brave in a 200 fly, Paul.
Yeah, well, it is, yeah. Let's hope she doesn't pay for that pace in the closing stages, but we've seen her swim a couple of races already today, like Gabby Freeman, and she's performed really well. So obviously feeling confident, feeling on form. And a lot of that in the 200 butterfly. It's all about confidence, really. I mean, it's about fitness, obviously, but in the 200 butterfly, you've got to be confident. The worst thing is if you get to the end and you feel, oh, you know what, I should have just pushed that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's really about just finding that balance in your pacing. And again, Gabby with an entry time of, as I see here, 2:28, and this morning she did go, what was a 2:29, so again, she's well within her capacity of dropping in this final, and she's putting herself in a great position to do so. It's a great battle there for third at the moment and second, but all to play for now coming into this final 50.
And they're all coming back on her now, the early leader. Gabby Freeman, maybe she is paying a little bit for that early pace. Alice Ward coming into the lead, and she just has a quick look over. Zara Kravich in second, Abigail Crawford in third now. Freeman down into fourth. You just see the splits there. Alice Ward and Zara Kravich in the 38 range, and they look like they might fight this one out, Jack.
Yeah, well, Zara does have a time of 2:23.6, so more than capable of pushing through, and I think she is indeed. As the camera pans out, we'll be able to see a challenge as they come in across the field. It's going to be those middle three lanes pushing in for the final 50 now.
And it looks like Zara Kravich has maybe got the momentum, but is it going to hold on? Is Alice Ward going to hold on here? Oh, on the touch, and it is Zara Kravich would take it. By 0.2 of a second. Well, she did have a slight momentum there, and she was a full second faster than Alice Ward in that last 50, with Abigail Crawford in third place and Alice coming in fourth position. But wow, what a good swim there from Zara Kravich, and a great finish. You just got to time that finish right on the butterfly, don't you?
Absolutely. Breaststroke and the butterfly in particular, so much can be had in the finish, but I think Alice might be slightly disappointed there. She was about a second slower than her heat performance this morning, and again, you know, you push so hard to make that final, and again, you maybe just leave yourself a little bit fatigued for the final in the evening. But again, a great swim to back up a 2:25 and a 2:26, and there's the final finish there with Zara just coming in those final few meters, stretching in, and we move on to the B final of the 200 butterfly.
Saw a good win from the 15-year-old Zara Kravich from East Lothian, one of the local clubs here to Edinburgh. And the B final is about to go. Again, all GB base swimmers in this B final. Evie O'Halloran Hutchison from Derwentside in lane number 1. Stella McCarty from City of Glasgow in 2. Layla Flower from University of Bath in 3. Seren Talentire from Morpeth in 4. Maddie Robertson, Stirling University in 5. Susie McNair goes in lane 6 for Stirling. Niamh Savoury from Newcastle in 7, and Henrietta Damassa from City of Manchester Aquatic will go in lane number 8.
Yeah, well, I think potentially Maddie Robertson with a bit to drop here. She's got an entry time of 2:15, so if she can get thereabouts, her time, it will be on for a good race. But again, lane 4 coming through with Selin Galatieri with 2:18 entry time. Again, this morning she went to 2:21, so I think more than quite a few athletes in this field capable of dropping under that 2:20, Paul. Again, are we seeing a repeat of that first race? And centre lane going out potentially a bit quick, we'll see.
Well, it was the Morpeth swimmer who went out fast in that previous heat. It's the Morpeth swimmer who's gone out fast in this one, and that is Seren Talentire, the 16-year-old. So again, one of the junior swimmers who has forced their way into one of the senior finals, the B final. Seren Talentire looking really good there in that second 50. Stella McCarty in second, Niamh Savoury in third position as they go through. And in fourth, Maddie Robertson's got a little bit of work to do in lane number 5. Talentire and Robertson, they absolutely tied for the qualification, 2:21.91. And Layla Flower was only 1/100th behind them. Layla Flower just one lane down from the leader in lane number 3. But look at this, what a contest here as they come into the last turn.
Yeah, well, Talentire, I mean, she's gone out with purpose. You've got to respect that. It's very brave, particularly in the 200 fly, but she's put herself in a great position here. If she can hold her stroke together, she will be slightly challenged here, I think, as we come down the last few lengths. Lane 6, Susie McIntyre coming through well. She's actually challenging there for second now, coming very quickly through the field up there in lane 6. I think it is actually going to be Susie challenging for the lead here as we come into the final 15.
Yes, Susie McNair has come through very strongly, the Stirling swimmer in lane number 6, and I think she's going to take this one. She's gone past Seren Talentire in the middle, and Susie McNair is the one who's timed this one absolutely perfectly. 2:19.25, a big improvement from the heat time for Susie McNair. She went 2:22 this morning, 2:19.25. It was Seren Talentire in second position and Layla Flower in third. So great swims there at the front of the field, but perfectly timed swim from Susie McNair.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you respect going out with such pace there from
Talentire wasn't it?
Seren, going out. I mean, she went so quick in that first 100, but Yeah, it was brilliantly paced there at the end. It's just those final few lengths in the 200 butterfly, absolutely brutal. Shoulders
Did you
on
ever do that
fire.
one, Jack?
Oh, I've maybe tried it once or twice in training, but nothing to the standard that these ladies are producing.
So the super final on its way out. Cap Price from University of Bath, Alana Burns-Atkin from Swim Ireland in lane number 2. Ciara Slauson from Edinburgh University goes in lane 3. Here's Laura Stevens. What a swim she had in Doha to take that World Championship gold. World champion in lane 4. And Kiana McInnes, Scottish record holder. She goes in lane number 5 from Stirling University. Ashley Bailey, City of Manchester Aquatic in 6. Lucy Grieve goes in lane number 7. And Lily Rose Berthold from Liège Aver completes the lineup in lane number 8. Well, Laura Stevens in pole position, Jack. She's going to be tough to beat, the world champion.
Well, indeed, but it was 2 really quick swims, I think, this morning from Laura and Kiana. 2:11s this morning. I mean, potentially not a need to be going so quick, Paul, but maybe that's a sign of what's to come in the final this evening. And again, both really comfortable. I mean, Laura coming off the fresh about 2:07.0 from the World Champs, where she again won the event, world champion. Again, there's a capacity for Kiana McInnes, 2:08 best time, I believe, 2:08 low. Again, Ciara Slauson, 2:10. Looking in for a really good final here, particularly in the middle lanes. See what they can produce.
Laura Stevens goes in lane number 4. World champion. What can she do? She is a meet record holder. That meet record stands at 2:07.41. And Kiana McInnes is a Scottish record holder, 2:08.05. So if she's going to challenge that meet record, she's going to have to be faster than the Scottish record. So it's a very good meet record, this one.
It is indeed. That was blisteringly quick swim. Speaking of legacy swims in the 25-year anniversary, that is quite a legacy swim. I think that will take a lot of beating by even herself, Laura Stevens, let alone anyone else. But you never know. We'll see. It's a very quick start there from Laura and Kiana respectively. Or 29.33 for Kiana, 29.66 for Laura. Kiana's had some very fast 50 and 100 swims in recent months. Again, putting herself in a really strong position here, coming down the first 100. Again, coming out with a real intent here. Paul, this is looking like a real blistering first 100 actually. It's going to be...
She kind of made her name as a 200 flyer, and she's gone into the other distances in fly as well, hasn't she, Kiana?
She has indeed. I mean, again, she's the sprint pedigree going out there hard, and Laura will come back, but Kiana's put herself in a great position there, nearly second and a half ahead of Laura, but Laura does come back very strongly. Again, they're in different cycles of their training. Ciara Slauson doing really well. They're actually challenging on the shoulder of Laura.
And all these swimmers, of course, building their way into the Olympic trials. But Kiana McInnes is looking great so far as she goes into the final turn. The world champion has got a little bit of work to do if she's going to challenge Kiana McInnes, but look like a great turn from Kiana McInnes there, 33.19 for that 50, and a big lead of 2.5 seconds over the rest of the field.
Yeah, well, I think first place is tied up here by Kiana, but a really exciting race for second and third as it stands. You've got Laura and Ciara Slauson going stroke for stroke coming down into the last 15. Again, it's going to come down into the finish, Paul, between Ciara and Laura. We'll see what happens here, but I think Kiana McInnes will take that first place, and it's going to be a blistering time.
Oh, 2:08.52, half a second outside her own Scottish record. What a great swim from Kiana McInnes. Laura Stevens just gets the touch over Ciara Slauson, but Kiana McInnes looks delighted with that one, and rightly so. Wow.
Indeed. Again, we just felt it was indeed tied up. We were focusing on second and third there, but indeed we were looking at the clock, and a 2:08.52 is a brilliant swim, just outside her personal best. Laura Stevens a bit off there from her 2:11 this morning. Ciara Slauson dropping about 2 or 3 seconds. I think she'll be delighted with that. Overall, that was a really great race. Maybe less of a race that we were expecting potentially on paper, but there we go. That's where they are in the season, and
absolutely.
Trials are 3 weeks to go, so we'll see how things turn out.
Of course, World Champs, of course, were about 3-4 weeks ago as well. So It was
a go and two go.
Yeah, it was a big swim from Laura Stevens out there at the World Champs, and I'm sure she will be building towards the trials. But that sent a message from Kiara McInnes. That was incredible. Great swim.
In terms of mental games and mental battles, I mean, Laura will be going into that final in a few weeks' time knowing that, so that'll be an interesting one. And we move swiftly on into the male 200 freestyle, starting with the junior final.
Another big event for us. The 200 freestyle has been such a strong event in GB over the last few years. Probably, I'm trying to think when it kind of started, but the Great Britain team's so dominant. Well, not dominant, but really in contention in world terms, the 4x200 freestyle. So the 200 freestyle has become a target event for a number of swimmers, and the standard has really moved on. And of course, with Tom Dean and Duncan Scott, the gold and silver medalists in the Olympic Games, it only got better, and Great Britain right up there in contention for medals in that relay squad, and they will be again and come to Paris. These are the juniors though, who will be looking to try and force their way into the teams a few years' time. Zach Slater goes in lane 1 for East Lothian, Elias Elimdeb from Hovedstadens in 2, Evan Gallimichon from Leisure Vert, Tiago Gomez Eindhoven, Evan Davidson Perth City, and Luke Hornsey Edinburgh University, with the 2 Irish swimmers Dennis O'Brien and Sean Donnellan going in 7 and 8. 2 Irish swimmers a little bit off the pace because the action all taking place closest to us. Elias Elimdeb, saw him swim very fast in the 50, and he's shown that speed in the first half of this 200.
Yeah, but it's Elias down in lane 2 that's really pushing through at the moment. Again, motoring through an excellent first 50 and first 100, and he's holding that pace well, breathing across to the field. Will slightly close on him now by the looks of things, but he's put himself in a great position there. Outside Smoker coming through. Centre lane's closing slightly now. See where we are in the final 50. Got Luke Hornsey coming through with that back half pedigree. Evan Davidson as well. It's going to be a tight finish for that second and third. Can Elias hold on?
Yeah, Luke Hornsey's set himself a tough target here after that 1500 just a short while ago, but look at the speed that Luke Hornsey has got here in lane number 6. Luke Hornsey, I think he might just get up to take this one. This 200, Hornsey, what a swim, what a couple of swims he's had in the last half an hour or so. 1:52.52 for Luke Hornsey, and he will take that one ahead of Elias Elimdeb, who seems delighted with that one. The swimmer in lane number 2 from Hovedstadens, 1:53.19 for him. A good 2-second improvement from his heat time. Evan Davidson in 3rd. But what about that for Luke Hornsey? What a turnaround. Wow.
Blistering pace. I mean, as I said, in the 1500, he's more of a 400 swimmer. So, again, the 1500 more swimming up. So, again, I think that's a great sign for the 400 to come later in the next few days. So, fantastic swim. The closing pace there was brilliant. Really held the stroke together well. Coached by Chris Jones at Edinburgh University. Doing a great job with Luke.
Oh, an excellent swim there from Luke Hornsey. 2nd excellent swim of the night. So the B final is just about ready to go. Again, big international feel about this one. Jordan Cooley from Leeds University goes in lane 1. Thomas Janssen from Team Netherlands. In lane number 2, Nicholas Castella from Hovedstadens. In lane 3, Finn McGeever from National Centre of Limerick goes in lane 4. Evan Jones from Stirling University in lane 5. Oliver Sogard Anderson in 6 from Hovedstadens. Arthur Logan from Edinburgh University in 7. And Thomas Leggett from Swim Ireland goes in lane number 8. So Finn McGeever and Evan Jones, the fastest 2 from the qualification, but not much in it at all. Evan Jones looking good in lane number 5. Oliver Sogard Anderson as well in lane number 6. And of course, Evan Jones at that great Commonwealth Games, didn't he, in Birmingham 2022?
Yeah, he did indeed, and he's again good IM swimmer, good freestyle swimmer. He's got a personal best time of a 1:48.2, so an excellent 200 freestyle. I think he'd be a bit disappointed not to make the superfinal, to be honest, but he's really pushing into a great position here. Long loping stroke. Got McGeever in his And his inside again, McGeever capable of a 150.4. I think again, if they're pushing themselves here, they might be really challenging into that 150 range. 53.1, that's an excellent first 100. They're putting themselves in a great position to challenge, particularly Evan. Coming around the wall, he's looking really strong there. Really high position on the water, seeing these sprint events, the athletes really motoring through. Although it's not all said and done with Finn McGeever breathing towards him as they come down this length. It's going to be a good bash down this last 50, Paul.
I think it will be, and Evan Jones looking good at the front of the field. He's got a slight lead. He's just improved it there by 0.4 of a second on that previous 50, and he got a great turn as well. Great work off the wall for Evan Jones. Finn McGeever now coming under threat from Nicholas Castella in lane number 3, but Evan Jones is away and clear, and he is going to take this one. It's all about him and the clock now. Good battle for second position, but Evan Jones is going to be in first position here. Evan Jones will take it 149.70. Again, he'll be delighted to dip under the 150 mark. Great finish from Nicholas Castella to get in ahead of Finn McGeever. 150.72. McGeever in third place, 151.60. But great finish there from Evan Jones. Great second half of that one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think he'd be a bit disappointed not to have made the super final with a sub 150 there. He's 152 in the heat, so maybe just left a little bit too much in the pool this morning. But that's the way it goes sometimes. He's still produced a great swim ahead of trials, put that confidence booster in place. And again, I think we've got some big swims to come with the likes of Jack McMillan, Duncan Scott in the centre lanes of the super final.
It was absolutely stacked, the heats of the 200. It's qualification of 151.5 to make that one. Saw Jeremy Bagshaw, the Canadian based in Limerick, going in lane 1. Kieran Bird, University of Bath, in 2. There's Duncan Scott. What can Duncan Scott do? The Olympic silver medalist, Commonwealth champion. Jack McMillan, his Stirling University teammate, goes in 4. Luke Turley in 5 for University of Bath. Evan Bailey will go for Swim Ireland in 6. And 2 from the Loughborough Performance squad. Charlie Hutchison in 7, and Joe Litchfield.
Yeah, and don't discount Joe Litchfield, a 146.8 personal best time. And Jack McMillan, 146.7. He's now British, so he'll be there at trials as well. So again, we're talking about the legacy of the men's 200 freestyle. It's absolutely stacked, and it continues to be as we move forward with, again, a few big names not even here, but this in itself is an extremely high standard final. I think there'll be quite a few sub 150s to come.
It's going to be great at the trials, I think, that all the big names competing in this 200 freestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I think a few of them might be watching potentially just to see where their countrymen are at, but also rivals at the end of the day. With the trials event, you are going for those top spots, but there's the relays as well, so collectively you do want that collective performance to be high. So I think everyone will be there or thereabouts. They'll be tuning in at least, or maybe looking at the results. So yeah, it's definitely a confidence boosting swim, and I've been told that the Stirling athletes were told to just do enough to make it into the finals. So well, they've done enough in the centre lane, so we'll see what's to come.
Duncan Scott and Jack McMillan side by side, lanes 3 and 4. Luke Turley, University of Bath, will go in lane number 5. Duncan Scott, he's got 6 events here that he's doing over this long weekend. So he's got another event later on tonight, 200 metres individual medley, and look at the start for Duncan Scott. Well, I mean, what can you say about Duncan Scott? He's won all the accolades almost over the previous, almost a decade now since he kind of burst onto the scene as a real youngster at the Commonwealth Games in 2014, but he's gone out really fast ahead of his teammate Jack McMillan. And you said to watch out for Joe Litchfield. He's in 3rd in the early stages.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it will be Duncan and Jack pushing through, but Joe's more than capable of producing an excellent time. But Duncan was absolutely stacked in terms of his events in Doha, and he'll be the same in the trials and the Olympics to come. He always does so many events, but blistering first 100 there on a 50.8. He's put himself in a fantastic position to be well under that 148 mark potentially at this rate. All going well, he's still looking really strong. Jack McMillan still on his hip there, and Joe up in that top position, still holding on to 3rd. It's looking like a Duncan and Jack McMillan Stirling 1-2 at the moment. Again, they'll be pushing each other, and Jack McMillan coming through well, actually. He's again right on Duncan's hip. It's not all said and done for Duncan.
Yeah, he does come through very strongly. Duncan Scott now trying to hold off the challenge of Jack McMillan, who's only a couple of tenths faster on that last 50 metres, but Duncan Scott holding on now. Jack McMillan now pushing back on his teammate, the two from Stirling. Jack McMillan certainly making inroads to the lead of Duncan Scott, but I think Duncan is going to get this one. Duncan Scott is going to come home in front, and have a look at the time. Have a look at the time, 1:46.14. Great swimming there for Duncan Scott and Jack McMillan as well. What a good pair of swims at the front, Jack.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said at the start, they were told to just do enough in the heats, and they did that indeed, and my goodness, what a drop they've produced there. I said there'd be a decent drop below 1:48. Try a drop below 1:47. well below. That was a fantastic swim, and as we predicted, a handful of sub 150s overall. Joe just dropping off at the end there, but brilliant swim there for Duncan and Jack McMillan. That's fantastic for what's to come in trials in 3 weeks' time.
Well, he looked very strong in the early stages. Duncan Scott and Jack McMillan was right there in contention, wasn't he?
He was indeed, and
the three of them, the Jack McMillan, you mentioned Joe Litchfield, Duncan Scott will be back again for the 200 IM.
Yeah, again, just showing his class and depth, being able to back up these such hard events. And you looked at his calendar in Tokyo. I mean, the capacity of 200 IM, 200 freestyle, the relays, it's just, yeah, it's quite a legacy. Again, we're thinking about legacy, that's the theme, the 25-year anniversary, and think back to all the times and the events he's done here. I've raced against him plenty of times in the 100 freestyle and the skins events, and that itself, we will have a skins events in the 50. Not for this event in particular. We have two heats to come, or two finals to come, with the junior and the B, and then we will have a skins. Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic race. Really enjoyed that, Paul.
So great stuff from Duncan Scott, Jack McMillan at the front of the field. More to come from them a little bit later on in the IM. We'll see what they can do. And here we are, the 50s. So 50 freestyle for the female swimmers, and the male and open 50 metre butterfly will follow closely. So they'll kind of switch between the two. We're not going to have the 50 freestyles for the women and all the three finals, because we're going to have the 50 freestyle for females, the junior events, and we're going to have the same junior event for the male and open class. And we're moving on to the 2B finals, and then we will have the skins. Do you like the skins, Jack?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
were you a man that, you know,
I could do
relish the challenge?
Maybe one or two I could get through, and then I think I was in a world of pain come the third or fourth, if I ever made it that far.
I always remember Adam Peaty swimming the skins here in the 50 breaststroke.
Oh, that was astonishing.
And it was just amazing. I think 5, 6 swims. Incredible pace. But the 50 freestyle for the junior swimmers, Layla Weatherspoon, Alexander Boulat, Maylene Bessard, Angelina Roma, Natalie Marshall, Lily Mundell, Ava Jones and Ashley Drake. Ashley Drake won a swim off to qualify for this junior final. 27.47. She went 27.1, I think, in the swim off. Let's see what she can do in the outside lane. But it is going to be, I think, lane number 3, who is Maylene Bessard. Maylene Bessard taking that junior final. 26.64 for her. 26.86 for Lily Mundell and Angelina Roman. 26.97. And
huge drop there for Maylene. That was an enormous drop from the heat. It was about 0.6, 0.7 of a second, and lovely straight arm stroke as well. Really enjoyed it. She had a great start and really dominated that from start to finish there. Now as we move on to the male junior final of the 50 butterfly, again we alternate in this event, as the skins will alternate in the super final, so we alternate with the 250s respectively. Now going down to the other end of the pool once the live stream catches up. We just have a bit of a technical issue with a few swimmers missing potentially here in 4 and 5. I think we might be looking for reserves potentially, or...
Yeah, it's possible, but Elias El Medib just swam.
He did just swim in the 200.
In the 200, so maybe waiting for him to make his way around.
And I believe Nicholas Costella as well might have been.
Yeah, Nicholas Costella, I think.
Was he in the 100 back? Was he in the backstroke? The 100 potentially? Was he the 200 freestyle?
Yeah, he was on the 200 freestyle, yeah.
Well, we are proceeding. Maybe they've pulled out.
Possibly.
No show?
Concentrating on that 200 just a short while ago, so we've got 2 missing lanes there in
Two
the
centre
centre.
lanes.
Yeah, so we left with Sidar Gulen in 1, Conor Fitzgerald in 2, Adam Scott in 3. And on the other side of the pool, Finlay Nelson, Jensen Norris and Alex Black. So it's a bit of a gap in the middle, but who is going to take the advantage here? Is it going to be lane 3, lane 6, lane 2 going well? Conor Fitzgerald and possibly Finlay Nelson in lane number 6 and Adam Scott in lane number 3. It might be Conor Fitzgerald to the wall first. It is 25.62. Adam Scott in second and Finlay Nelson bang on the 26 second mark, 26.00. So another big dive in times there, isn't it?
Yeah, it was indeed. I mean, again, it's a huge drop from meet to final, nearly a second overall. It was quite a drop indeed. So a bit poor to see 2 no-shows there, unfortunately. It's not great. They could potentially have a bit more communication with the event organisers to let them know if they were not intending to do that final, but it's the way it goes sometimes. Those athletes took advantage of that and still had great performances overall.
Yeah, they didn't get a chance to bring in the reserve either for that one, which is a shame, but we'll see what the female 50 freestyle B finalist can do. Emma Wood with that yellow cap of City of Leeds, Maisie Guilford, University of Bath, Katie Shanahan, Stirling University, back in the water again, Grace Davison, Jemima Hall, Marola Trompette, Janice Spinner and Ariana Stokes. That is the full lineup for this B final. And a very good start in lane 4. Grace Davison from Swim Ireland, the 17-year-old in lane number 4. Jemima Hall now trying to make some inroads into that early lead. It's very close indeed. Katie Shanahan now coming through strongly in lane number 3. Look at this, a blanket finish, and it's Jemima Hall will take it, 26.37. But my goodness, 18/100ths of a second separating the top 5. Katie Shanahan again in great form, getting right in the mix in one of the events that we don't often see her in, of Maisie Guilford in 3rd place.
Absolutely. Well, you'd argue that Katie's best event is the 400 IM. So again, going right the way down to the 50, it's kind of Duncan Scott-esque, being able to turn your hand to so
That's
many.
it.
That is the beauty, like I said, of the medley events. You really can just dabble within everything, and why not? At the end of the day, it puts you in a good racing state, get you ready for those trials to come, sharpen things up. And now again, we quickly go down to the far end of the pool for the B final of the 50-metre butterfly.
Yeah, Jamie Robertson, closest to us here from Stirling University. Jens Christensen from Simklubben from Sweden goes into Brodie Gordon Gibson, Edinburgh Uni in 3. Jamie Ingram, City of Manchester Aquatic in 4. Brogan Hyde, Stirling University in 5. Killian Petch from League of Erne in 6. Angel Esposito from Villafrance in 7. And Tom Robertson, Edinburgh Uni in lane number 8, and off to a good start. Swimmer in lane 8. And that is Tom Robertson. Can he spring a surprise from the outside lane? Killian Peck going well. The French swimmer in lane number 6, coming through in the centre lanes now. Brogan Hyde maybe in 5. It will be the Frenchman, I think. Killian Peck takes it. 3/100ths of a second ahead of Jamie Ingram, with Brodie Gordon Gibson in 3rd position. And Tom Robertson was right there until about the last 10 metres there, the man in lane number 8.
Yeah, I think he just dropped off a little bit. It's again in the finish. You just don't time the finish and can miss it. He definitely missed a few places there, but again, good turnout there for the middle lanes. 24.6, 24.61 and 6.4 respectively, dropping from the performances this morning of 24.7. And now we move on to the skins event. So the running order, I believe, for how this will work is 2 will be dropped from the first.
No, 4 I think.
4.
Doing, but there's only 3 rounds of the skins this time.
So it's 4 dropped.
4 dropped, then 2, and then 2 to the final 2.
And then 1 dropped at the end, and that's it. Yeah, you're right, because it used to be 5 rounds. So it used to be 2. I think it used to be 1 drop, then 2. So there used to be 5 rounds. Now there's 3. So I think it's a bit softer now, don't you think? So we're announcing,
making a comeback here.
we're announcing both here. So that was Katie Goodburn from Edinburgh University in lane 1, followed by Callum Bain, the 50-metre butterfly from Team Ireland.
Evie Davis coming through now for Stirling University, going in lane 2. Gregor Swinney will go in 2 for City of Glasgow. Netherlands swimmer Mulovic from Team NL going in lane number 3, Kasper Pugart from Hovedstadens. 50-metre butterfly, the youngster, the 19-year-old. Danielle Hill back in the water again. What a good backstroke we saw from her earlier. And the new meet record holder, Jessie Poots from the Dolphin, going in lane number 4. Rebecca Guy from Bristol. Well, it's got a swum very good heat. Rebecca Guy goes in lane number 5. Sean Newald from Feyenoord. He will go in 5 for the men. Tessa Gale from Feyenoord in 6 for the women. Shane Ryan from Swim Ireland will go in 6. Emma Harvey back in the water again, the Bermuda swimmer, in lane number 7. Akita Baez from Lisa Bear in 7 for the men. Anastasia Urbaniak from Thionville, one of the French swimmers, and another youngster, Dean Fern, goes in the 50 fly in lane number 8.
Seen him earlier today, but I think it's a great field here, both for the 50 freestyle women and 50 men butterfly respectively. Some great performances. Great to see Jessie Poots as well, world champion in the 50 freestyle from nearly 10 years ago now. Short course and
swam a great 50 fly in the heats, and that meet record looked really strong, 23.36.
Half a second drop on what was Ben Prow's record, so yeah, really impressive. And we start off with the female 50 freestyle.
So the female event through, who is going to take the honours in this first round. Remember, for the skins, we will drop 4 swimmers from this first round, so the top 4 will go through to the next round, and the final 4 will drop out. Who's going to take this one? Well, my goodness, it's very, very close indeed. Maybe in the centre lanes, Danielle Hill and Rebecca Guy possibly, and it is Vic actually first to the wall. Hill will be safe, Rebecca Guy will be safe, and Evie Davis will also be safe. And I think that if that result is confirmed, which it is, we will lose 4 swimmers, Urbaniak, Goodburn, Gale and Harvey.
Yeah, well, Daniel again coming fresh off 100 backstroke. It's hard to back up. She's probably a wee bit fatigued potentially, but still held it together well there. We'll see what sort of form she's on to hold through. Again, you're not sure what athletes will continue through. Some might drop out. We'll just see what position they're in. I think some of these big male sprinters here might call it quits after 1. We'll see.
Oh no, surely not. Surely not.
I hope they do, but I do remember in years past there's quite a few that might drop out or chill out in the second 50, but let's focus on this first one and see if Jessie Poots can challenge that meet record.
Meet record set by Jessie Poots this morning, 23.36. He looked absolutely supreme. Sean Newald from Feyenoord did 23.76. Can he challenge? He goes in at lane number 5, but Jessie Poots in lane number 4, off to a good start again, looked very strong. This is where he really pulled away from the rest of the field in the heats this morning. Jessie Poots will just about edge them here as they go into, it's very close, a lot closer than it was in the heats. Let's watch the clock. Jessie Poots in 23.45. Well, it was just outside that time that he did, but not by much. Kasper Pugard under the 24-second mark. Sean Newald under the 24-second mark. And Nikita Baez will be the final swimmer to go on to the next round of the skins. But Jessie Poots, well, 23.45. He backed that up, didn't he?
Yeah, he did indeed. I mean, again, likely really did go for it this morning, as the 50 guys often do. But still brilliant to back that up. Put in a good position. Great to see him still well in the sport. Again, a real veteran with the likes of Shane Ryan as well. More of a backstroker. Again, good performance there coming through. I think he was 4th, I believe, there. So there's our top 4, and then we go back down to the other end, back to the 50 freestyle. So we'll have 3-minute rotation between each respectively. So the athletes will receive a warning whistle, at which point they will...
We're coming up for the 3 minutes now.
So they will receive a warning, 10 to the block, and then they will receive a go. So there's no take your marks. And there it is. A few athletes ready, a few not there.
Oh yeah.
That's the nature of the beast that is the skins event.
Danielle Hill got a great reaction there in lane number 4. That set her in good stead. Who is going to survive for the final here. It's the top two from these four. Danielle Hill working hard. Milovic, who won that race a little bit earlier, of the 8 coming through. Also coming through, Evie Davis might just survive here. Is it going to be the middle two? It's very close. Evie Davis will take that one. Good. Wow. Great touch from Evie Davis. I didn't think she was going to take that one. And Milovic in second position, just ahead of Danielle Hill. We had that great start with Rebecca Guy in 4th place. So Davis and Vic will take to the final.
Milovic had a really slow reaction. Again, some of the international athletes might not being aware of the rules of this event, but she kind of got left on the block a little bit, but she made up for it in the swimming.
Yeah, and Evie Davis, I didn't think she was in contention there. I thought it was going to be the two swimmers in the middle.
Indeed. And then we're back down to the other end, and we'll see a similar warning, a 10-second warning whistle, and then it will be the go.
So Casper Pugart, Jessie Boots, Sean Neville, and Nikita Bites. Again, it's real international field. Oh, what's happening here? They're going to go in a second.
And again, people being left behind, they're not really sure what's going on, and they've just... I think that was Shane Ryan that's just let himself go there.
No, that was Sorry, Poots. No. That's Poots,
it's Poots, it is. My apologies, not Shane Ryan. Shane Ryan was dropped. Well, I think it's a clear 1, 2, 3 here by the looks of it.
Oh, Pugart is, he knows what he's doing. He's going to survive here. Is it going to be Sean Nevald? Is it going to be Nikita Baez? And Pugart looks across. Confusion all around. Sean Nevald is in there just ahead of Nikita Baez. We had a shocking start there, but it was a little bit better than Poots.
Well, Poots is looking very confused down the far end of the pool, as I see now. He's just not sure of the rules of how the skins events works potentially. Again, this is where the athletes really need to do a bit of homework and understand. He's still looking very confused. And it's a clear DNS, so yeah, Jessie Poots is looking a bit distraught with that, but that's the way it goes.
So the finalists for the women's in these skins, Evie Davis and Milovic, will be the top two. Still got a little bit of
lactic acid will be through the roof at this point. And even with just 250s onto the third now, they will be really struggling. So I think we'll be seeing some tough swims here, but again, shaking of the legs, trying to do what they can to keep the lactic acid at bay.
So Evie Davis moved into lane 4, Milovic in lane number 5. We'll see.
Really good start there from Evie Davis.
So again, that great head-on shot, and it looks like Evie Davis going really well here as Milovic. Well, we saw her come back really strongly in the closing stages, but is she going to do this? I don't think she is. I think Davis has got this one sewn up. Swimmer in lane number 4 is going to take that one, and Evie Davis, she was almost out in the semi-final, but she's come through to take it.
She has indeed. That was a brilliant last 50. It's actually quicker than the last 50, so absolutely fair play. She's done really well there. Puts her in a good position for the 100 freestyle and the 200 freestyles to come, if that's any form for what's on show today. So yeah, that was a brilliant final 50, and Evie, we recipient of a pair of Swans goggles, one of the sponsors of this event.
Yeah, the skins, it's always been a feature of the Edinburgh International over the last couple of years. There are the finalists for the male and open event. Casper Pugart, Sean Nevald. So Pugart, he won that previous semi-final there. Can he follow that up with a win? Sean Nevald will be better prepared this time for this start. And it's a clean getaway this time, so it's more of an even playing field here. Pugart with great work under the water, taking him into the lead. Casper Pugart, the 19-year-old. Sean Neville, the 22-year-old. Can he come back? Casper Pugart trying to hold on here. Sean Neville not giving up. It's going to be a fight to the finish here, but it is going to be Pugart, I think, will take that one. And Casper Pugart into the wall, 24.98 for Casper Pugart. And under the 25-second again, he'll be delighted with that one, and he will take the skins title, the young man.
Indeed, that was an excellent swim. I must say, he was really close to going beyond the 15 off the wall, off the start there. He really was close. That was a really impressive 50, and again, Cass will be a recipient of a pair of premium goggles. Again, each of the winners of the skins events are some prizes up for grabs.
So it was short and sharp skins tonight, Jack.
Was indeed.
We're used to the 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah, well,
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, well, it used to be 5. Used to be 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that was absolutely brutal back in the day when they did 5
you ever
rounds.
last to
I
the
did.
end?
I think it was 2016. I was up against Ben Proud, 1-2.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I made it to the 5th, and my goodness, I was in quite a state by that last 50. Ben won, even though he missed the start. I got a huge lead on him, but I just imploded. I had nothing left in the system, and Ben just, tore past me. But makes for a good story.
Yeah, David Cumberledge was always very good at
he was excellent at
the
it.
50 freestyle, wasn't he?
I think he's won it a few times actually.
Yeah,
won it once or twice. We'll see him later in the competition, the 50 freestyle. But now we're back to the more distance-based events. We've got the 400 freestyle. Just 3 finals to come, starting with the junior.
Yeah, and they're closest to us, Georgia Dickey from Dumfries. 2 Newcastle swimmers next to her, Emma Headley and Katie Noble. Tegan Black goes for East Lothian in 4. Susie McNair back in the water again. She goes for Stirling in lane number 5. Zara Kravich also back after that 200 butterfly. She goes in lane 6 for East Lothian, the 15-year-old. Alexandra Boulat from Pentaqua goes in lane 7, and Rosie Forrester from Warren de Bath goes in lane number 8. So again, we've seen a couple of the swimmers doubling up from their swims earlier tonight. Susie McNair had that great finish in the 200 butterfly, as did Zara Kravich as well. So 2 swimmers very much on form. What can they do in this 400?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how Susie goes. She came out really strongly, like you said, in that second half, and she's got an entry time of a 4:27. So again, real capacity there for a big drop potentially. See what she's got left in the tank. Again, doubling up with a 200 butterflies, quite a session. So we'll see. Again, it's just shaping out to be outside lanes currently as it stands. Got Alexandra in lane 7. Got Georgia Dickey up in lane 1. It's coming from Katie Noble, currently in lane 3, holding that second position. Bit of a spread out race currently. We'll wait and see. Again, the 400 event, a bit more of that middle point. Again, it is a middle distance, but you see some of the athletes it's quite a fast pace for a 400. You almost see them taking on a 200 style approach to it, and again, you see the legs working much harder than you would expect in an 800 or 15, and again, it can be an absolutely brutal event, the 400 freestyle. It's one of the hardest on the programme, arguably, with that balance of, again, it's more of a middle distance, but you are needing to really establish a pace at the beginning, put yourself in that position, and again, looking at some of the athletes that have gone for it in previous heats in those first half of the races, it can put you in a bit of a tough position and you come into the final stages. But it is going to be Katie Noble still holding on. She's actually moved into first, I should say now, still holding those 34-point mids, 34.6.
Susie McNair right there in second place, 2:13.69. And Zara Kravich, the other swimmer who we saw in the 200 metres butterfly, in lane 6, just a little bit off the pace. So she's got a little bit of work to do, the young swimmer. A tough double there for Zara Kravich in the space of the last half an hour, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's. I don't blame her at all if she's feeling a bit fatigued. But she might come back. We'll see how she's going. But I think Susie McNair is looking in a really good position. Again, with her pedigree of that 200 butterflies, she will have quite an engine on her, I think, to come back in these final stages. Katie Noble still holding on. She's looking towards across the pool now, so she'll be able to see where the others are placed in the pool. We spoke about that earlier in the 1500, that tactical play, being able to look across, understand where you're at. Obviously, you stick to your own race as much as you can, but these critical moments to see where you're placed and see what you need to be doing is really important. So for the final 50, she will be looking across.
And they go up to the 300 mark. Katie Noble, Susie McNair, Tegan Black right in contention, but just dropping back off the top 2 there. You see the splits, 34 point for the leading 2, 35 point for the third place swimmer Tegan Black. And well, It looks like it could be Katie Noble. It's hers to lose now, probably, unless Susie McNair can have another blistering finish like we saw in that 200 metres butterfly. I think the top 3 spots, well, I say that Rosie Foster challenging right up there in lane number 8, but Katie Noble is just extending a lead by 0.4 of a second there ahead of Susie McNair.
Yeah, well, Katie looking across there to the pool, like I said, I think it's a comfortable 1-2, but it's a really strong finish here for Rosie Foster, who's going to be challenging for 3rd place at this rate. She has indeed just edged potentially Tegan Black. That's going to be really close for that 3rd place finish. 1 and 2 are fairly tied up at this point, but can Tegan Black push back the challenge of Rosie Foster in the final stages? It's going to be really tight for this 3rd place finish. Who's going to get it? It's going to be right in the touch. Oh, and it just goes to Tegan Black. It's an excellent last 100 there for Rosie Foster overall, but there is our top 3. Nice for Katie to drop under that 4:30 point. Susie McNair, great finish as well, all things considered, with a 200 butterfly earlier in the session.
Yeah, Katie Noble there, 429.54 for the 400. And Susie McNair, another good swim. She'll be pleased with that one. Second place in that junior final. And now the B final will make their way out as these swimmers exit the water. So line up for this B final. Elizabeth Land from Newcastle. 2 Derwent side swimmers side by side. Emily Maxwell and Alice Forrest. Warren de Bath's Phoebe Arbuckle going in that centre lane with that red cap of Warren de Bath's club. Mari Craig from Edinburgh University in lane number 5. Louise Ashford from University of Bath in 6. Mail Large from Villefranche in 7. Coco Croxford from East Kilbride in lane number 8. We've got a message from BBC. So they are underway for this B final. And Phoebe Arbuckle in lane number 4 with that red cap of Warren de Bath's. Alice Forrest in 2nd position. Mari Craig in 3rd place. Elizabeth Land in 4th. But it's very, very close indeed. Emily Maxwell right in contention as well. Very tight on this first 50. It's almost a very slender diagonal line. It's almost a perfect formation, as we might expect, because of course the time seeded for the swimmers from the centre lanes outwards. So if everything goes according to plan, will be almost an arrowhead, and that's almost what we've got now, with Phoebe Arbuckle leading the way ahead of Mari Craig. They weren't too far apart in terms of qualification, both on the 4:27 range, so I'd expect a close contest between the two in the yellow marked lanes in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely, and their actual entry times as well are 4:22 respectively, so if that's thereabouts their personal best times, it's, again, if they're thereabouts, it could be a really interesting race. They're only a couple tenths splitting them actually, both in the heat and in the entry sheet, so yeah, we'll see the different pacing that comes through here, different approaches. Phoebe went out really strongly that first 100. Mari's come back slightly now, again putting herself in a good position, breathing towards Phoebe as they come down the second length, or breathing bilaterally actually, she's breathing to both sides. That's an interesting tactic. Again, we spoke about that earlier, maybe breathing to both sides, taking advantage of that, seeing where they're at in the field. Slightly more unusual, reminds me of Stephen Milne, he used to breathe every 3. Don't see it very often these days, but it's nice to see when you do. They're coming in really even into the wall now actually. Yeah, it's a really strong sort of pull through from Mari. She's come back well. But Phoebe's still just in the lead. Just in the lead and no more, so it's again looking like a strong 1-2 at the moment, pulling away from the rest of the field. 3rd place challengers with the likes of, I think it's Emily, it's going to be Alice and Mally out in the outside lanes there.
Yeah, it looks like a head-to-head in prospect here as they go into the second half of this B final. Phoebe Arbuckle still with that lead. She's been Well, all the way through this 400B final, and 2:43, just a tenth of a second ahead of Mary Craig. But Mary Craig still right there in the mix, looking pretty comfortable. Mary Craig, Phoebe Arbuckle trying to hold on now as they come down to the 300 mark. Good contest for third between Alice Forrest and Mel Large. And well, that looks like a contest for the minor places in this one, because the top two are away and clear. Can Phoebe Arbuckle still maintain that lead she's got against Mary Craig? She goes over the turn. It's very close indeed. Look at that. Mary Craig now reverse the positions, a tenth of a second in it, but it's the other way around.
I mean, they've been absolutely head to head. This is a brilliant showing for both of them. I think they're going to be challenging for the entry times here, but like we said, they're a couple tenths separating on the entry sheet and from the performances this morning, so it really is going to come down to the last 50. And they're looking at the way that Phoebe's breathing. She's going to be breathing away from Mary in this last 50, so Mary potentially having the advantage there as they come into this last 50, being able to breathe to both sides, but it's going to come down to that sprint finish.
Oh, it's going to be very close indeed. There's still 0.2 of a second in it. Phoebe Arbuckle now trying to come back on. Mary Craig, Large and Forrest, they're only 3/100 separating them, but it looks like it might be Mary Craig just with the advantage here. The Edinburgh University swimmer in lane number 5. Phoebe Arbuckle now, the 16-year-old. Has she got anything to respond to the Edinburgh Uni swimmer in lane number 5? Mary Craig now into the wall. I don't think Arbuckle is going to do it. It's going to be close, but it is going to be Mary Craig in 4:22.50. Big improvement from the heat swims for both the leading swimmers. They pushed each other on to excellent times there. Alice Forrest just gets in ahead of Mel Large for third place, but what a good couple of swims at the front of the field.
Absolutely, and I think they both did just go under their entry time, so that may well be personal best times there for both of them. So brilliant showing overall, and 5-second drops from the heat, so yeah, can't really ask for much more than that, can you?
Absolutely not. It's a great contest and a great win for Mary Craig, with it very close behind her was Phoebe Arbuckle.
Now we move on to the super final.
Yeah, Maria Godwin is the first swimmer we will see. The Swim Ireland swimmer in the outside lane in lane 1. Michaela Glenister from Stirling University in 2. Victoria Catterson from Swim Ireland. She goes in lane number 3. Valentine Leclerc, fastest from the heats, but only just faster than the Team Netherlands, Yara Kamfoot. Lucy Hope from Stirling University. Again, another experienced internationalist, Lucy Hope. She goes in lane 6. Amy Monks had a good heat swim, the Swansea Uni swimmer in lane 7. And Anna Farrell was in one of the earlier heats this morning in this 400, forced their way into this super final.
Well, it's likely the action going to be coming from these middle lanes here, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Valentine Leclerc, she was first at the French Short Course Nationals, European Junior, she was 4th. I believe that was a few years ago. In the French Open Nationals, she was 5th. So again, on form, showing the calibre and potential. She's got an entry time of 4:13.1. She was a 4:19.75. So potentially some more to come, depending where she's at in the season. Again, we spoke about that, Paul, with the athletes, so that towards their trials and national events. But
and Lucy Hope as well, going over this 400 free.
Yeah, a bit unusual to see that. More of a 200 specialist than 100, so potentially a tactical decision ahead of trials, summing up an event.
Yeah, again, she's one that's been integral part of the 4x200 relay teams. Lucy Hope for the GB squad and for the Scottish squad over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I can see is maybe a training decision to try something different. I can't imagine she's going for it from a trials perspective, but potentially we could see what sort of form she's on. I think more the 200 will be the focus, but it's up in those top 2 lanes there from Amy Monks and Lucy Hope that are, by the looks of it, leading things out.
Yeah, Lucy Hope, the lane just above those 2 yellow marked lanes in lane 6. Amy Monks 1 lane up from her, the 19-year-old from Swansea University. Amy Monks had a very good start, and she was kind of caught in the later stages, Amy Monks, but Lucy Hope doing a good job in the early stages here. The 2 in the middle, Leclerc and Kamfoot, French swimmer and the Dutch swimmer in 4 and 5. Valentine Leclerc from Leisure. Another 19-year-old, three 19-year-olds in this 400 super final. Leclerc, Monks and Farrell who go in the top lanes in 7 and 8, but it's Lucy Hope leading them through the first 100, but only just 1/100th of a second ahead of Leclerc.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's again, we spoke about tactics on the 200 butterfly and some athletes going out really strongly. 400 freestyle going out really hard in the first 50 or 100 or so. Potentially a tactical mistake, but we'll see. Again, there's different approaches to it. Valentine was a bit more relaxed on that first 50, and I think she's just going to pull through now. Again, showing that a kind of a longer loping stroke there, different style from Lucy's approach. But again, a really overall good performance so far from Lucy, which is good to see. And just to Valentine's left, the likes of Yara. Sorry, it's actually lane 3. It's Victoria that's coming through, putting herself in a good position. Victoria Catterson pushed her into 3rd position. It's actually coming from that side, the 3rd and 4th. Michelle Glenister as well. Pulling through again, dropping sort of half a second respectively from the previous splits. Making a bit of a shift in pace now.
Yeah, the splits there of the top 4 very, very similar. 32.43, 32.53 for a couple of swimmers. So very, very close indeed. Lucy Hope 32.57, but still holding on right in contention here with Valentine Leclerc as they go up to the 250 mark. But Lucy Hope is doing a really good job here out there in lane number 6, and she's taking the lead again. Look at that, 32.05, took half a second away from Leclerc. Michaela Glenister coming through strongly as well, 32.74 third, but Lucy Hope looking very good indeed, and Leclerc's got to try and respond to this as they go into the 300 mark.
Yeah, well, Lucy's got an entry time of a 4.15.1, Glenister of a 4.14.56, and Leclerc with a 4.13.1. So again, I think on paper this could be a really tight race depending where they're at, and they're all looking at a really good spot here, 1, 2, 3 respectively. Again, a bit of a shift in pace, a bit of a drop now, a few tenths. Lucy still holding on, about 0.8, 0.7 of a second lead. Glenister coming through well, going to be challenging for second as she comes into this final 50. It is still Lucy Hope, up in lane 6.
Well, Lucy Hope was just behind at the halfway point, Valentine Leclerc, but the second half of this race has belonged to her so far. Glenister making a little bit of a bid. Look at the gap there. She's half a second faster than Lucy Hope in that previous 50 there. Leclerc just dropping back slightly. Can she respond here as they go down to this final 50 metres? Lucy Hope has swum this well, but has Michaela Glenister timed it perfectly? Glenister coming through in lane number 2. Lucy Hope just has the lead though as they come into the closing stages here. Looks like Lucy Hope is going to take this one. Glenister giving everything here. Is she going to get it at the end? It is Glenister. Oh my goodness. Glenister takes it from Lucy Hope. What a finish from Michaela Glenister. Leclerc in 3rd place. But Michaela Glenister takes it 4:15.26. She'll be delighted with that finish. I thought Lucy Hope had it tied up, but it wasn't to be. Glenister with a great finish to take it from Lucy Hope and Valentine Leclerc.
Yeah, well, I think it's about a second outside of, no, not quite, about 0.7 outside of Glenister's entry time, and Lucy just outside her entry time. So, yeah, teammates there from Stirling. I think they'll be both really pleased with that overall. A 1-2. Just outside their entry times.
It was an excellent race, wasn't it? Leclerc was the pre-race favourite, but it was the 2 swimmers from Stirling, Michaela Glenister and Lucy Hope, who took the top 2 spots. And we move on to the breaststroke as the swimmers exit the water. That was a tough one, wasn't it, that 400?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, again, surprising to see Lucy doing the 400 freestyle. Here's me saying it was a tactical decision. Maybe it's just going for trials. We'll see. Who knows? Again, we've seen Katie Shanahan do all sorts of this. Again, it's like you said, it's a pre-trials event. You'll see athletes doing different events and trying different things. There'll be pacing opportunity, different way to race and train. So, yeah. Now we move on to the 200-meter breaststroke, starting with the junior final.
Yeah, again, the breaststroke been a successful event for GB swimmers. in recent years, the last decade or so. Gregor Ross goes in 1 for City of Glasgow. Fraser Dow from Perth City in 2. Rogers Kringelis goes in lane number 3 for City of Glasgow. Conor Mitchell from Warren de Baths in 4. Fraser Tetlow from Geary in 5. Fraser McIntosh from East Kilbride in 6. Jack Kelso Morpeth in 7. And one of the youngest in the field, the 16-year-old Johnny Martin, Perth City, goes in lane number 8. 2 Perth swimmers, the 2 youngest in this field. Fraser Dow in lane 2, just 15 years of age, and Johnny Martin in the outside lane, just 16 years of age, and Gregor Ross in lane 1, also 16 years of age. So quite a few youngsters in this one.
Absolutely, and again, thinking about the legacy of the event, the likes of Ross Murdoch, some of the Craig Benson, the Scots that have come through, the pedigree of male breaststroke, Michael Jameson. There's been so many over the years, and again, some big shoes to fill, even the likes of Scottish contingent GB. It's really nice to see a nice long loping stroke there from Conor. It's really important in the 200 breaststroke, particularly in that first 100. You need to have as long a stroke as possible, really maximising that distance. Breaststroke being the highest resistance of any of the other strokes. So again, you see the athletes wanting to really maximise that glide phase, which you can see here, which is great. You've got that classic triangle formation coming through like we spoke about earlier. But Conor's looking really strong with Royce and Fraser on either side of him respectively.
Yeah, Conor Mitchell looking very good. The Warner Bath swimmer going into this final turn, 2:26.42. Is the time that he set qualifying for this junior final. Second place Fraser Tetlow in 1:48.23. So a little bit of a gap now between Fraser Tetlow and Conor Mitchell. And Conor Mitchell heading for home. Not sure he is going to be caught. It is closing up maybe just very slightly, but Fraser Tetlow is going to run out of pool, I think. And Conor Mitchell is going to bring this one home. That red cap of Warren de Baths. Let's have a look at the clock. Can he get inside? He's 2:26.42. It is closing up. Tetlow very close in the end, but Mitchell had enough, and he does improve on that entry time. 2:25.18 for Conor Mitchell. Tetlow also under the 2:26 mark. Big improvement from the heats. And Kringelis 2:27 for him. Another improvement for the third place swimmer.
Yeah, that was a really strong finish there from Fraser. Conor just a wee bit outside his entry time of 22. I think a really strong performance backing that up. It looked really good in the early stages there. But yeah, Fraser came blisteringly quick back, but 2 seconds quicker in that second. Or the last 50, I should say. It's really impressive to see. And now we move on to the B final of this event.
Yeah, there is the lineup. Liam O'Connor from Swim Ireland will go in lane number 1. Callum Melville from Stirling University in 2. Christian Ryan, University of Bath in 3. Bram Svetsloot from Team Netherlands in 4. Rory Dixon, Stirling University in 5. Emil Moravsky from Edinburgh University in 6. Janik Vyland from Team Netherlands in 7. And William Godsill from University of Bath goes in lane number 8. So just Bram Svetsloot was the swimmer under the 2:20 mark. Let's see if he can improve on that 2:19 that he swam in qualification. Rory Dixon also swam well. He goes in lane number 5, and it's those two in the centre lanes off to the quickest of starts.
Yeah, well, Bram from Netherlands was right on his personal best from the heat this morning, of a 2:19.70 was his entry time, and a 2:19.91. So he's right on form today, and again you see that there 1.2 second advantage to Callum Melville. It's a really strong first 50, looking really stretching out, long loping stroke. Powerful kick, maximising that glide phase that we spoke about earlier. Rory Dixon, don't discount, capable of a really quick swim, 2:14 personal best in entry time. Maybe slightly off form again, thinking about trials in a couple of weeks, might not quite be in that position, but it is Bram from the Netherlands that's looking really strong down this first 100, dipping under that 105 put himself in a great position to drop another half second or so if he can hold this together from his morning swim, pulling away from the rest of the field. It's a bit of a challenge coming through in lane 2 from Callum Melville, still well within the race. He's putting himself in position for that hold on to second, and it's actually the swimmer from Geary, I believe, that's coming through from Christian Ryan, that's again pushing potentially into second or third now. Heating up for that second and third spots, flat into the wall for second and third place ball.
Yeah, going over there, it's very, very close indeed. Callum Melville just been caught by Christian Ryan, as you said, in lane number 3. I think Bram Svetslut has probably got this one sewn up. Well, I say that, but Rory Dixon making a move now in lane number 5. Can he catch Bram Svetslut? Svetslut has led since the very, very start of this one, but Rory Dixon coming back extremely strongly. Rory Dixon in lane number 5. Can he just get in ahead of Svetslut? It's going to be very tight indeed. I think the Dutchman is going to have it though. Bram Svetslut will just get there in 2:18.17, but a good improvement on the last 50 there for Rory Dixon. Almost snatched it. 35.18 for Rory Dixon.
Sprinting down that last line.
Ryan in third place, but Dixon almost stole it there from the Netherlands swimmer.
Did indeed, and if the entry time is correct, I mean that's a huge personal best for Bram potentially there. Entered in a 2:19.9, so 1.7 second drop. It's a great performance from the heat to final. Now we move on to the super final of the 200 breaststroke.
Lights have dimmed here, and here come the swimmers for this super final. Andrew Feenan, National Centre of Limerick, goes in lane number 1. 2 from Edinburgh University in 2 and 3. We have Liam Davis and Usain Cook. They go next to each other in 2 and 3. James Wilby. Oh, what do you say about James Wilby? He is the meet record holder in this one. Very impressive, 2:09.47. Evil Kroos goes in lane 5 for the Netherlands. George Smith goes in 6 from Stirling University. We have Owen Corby from Swim Ireland in 7, and Steinlauter from Team Netherlands in lane number 8.
Well, there's some potential drops to come here. I think a few of the athletes. James Wilby looked really comfortable this morning. Commonwealth Games silver medalist, defending champion from this event last year, British champion in this event. Again, speaking of legacy, he's really solidified himself as one of the top breaststrokers. We spoke about Ross Murdoch, we spoke about the Scots earlier, but James Wilby again from the last 6, 7, 8 years has really been, since he came through in 2018 winning that Commonwealth gold medal, he's really been at the top of his game since, and still is at the top of his game, and more than capable of making another Olympics in a few weeks' time.
We were talking about, James Wilby's great 200 has always been his focus, but he's a great 100 breaststroker as well, and if he wasn't around in the era of Adam Beattie,
absolutely,
might have been one of the all-time greats.
Well, I remember he was 58 mid at one point when no one else in the world was going anywhere near it, but you just happened to have a compatriot that was going 57 lows at the time. It's just
So he goes in the centre, James Wilby, with that red cap, and he's up quite quickly actually. Maybe the better start was Usain Cook, who had a good heat swim, the Irish swimmer based in Edinburgh University, but will be away and into his stroke, and immediately into the lead. Evil Kroos from Team Netherlands also going well in lane number 5, but will be, what a great record. We just touched on it there, and here's the defending champion from last year, regular visitor to here at the Edinburgh International. It's good to see him back preparing for those trials in a few weeks' time, but looking very good in the early stages. James Wilby, great technician, isn't he?
He is indeed, yeah, but I must say Usain Cook is looking really strong actually. I mean, he had a great start. He's actually got a longer stroke currently than Wilby. Wilby with a slightly faster tempo at the moment, making more of a turnaround in the water, but Usain's actually potentially gained a little bit in this second 50, arguably, compared to that first. He's actually in a really great position. Usain was right on his personal best, and James Wilby was 2:14 this morning, probably potentially dropping a couple seconds, and Usain a 2:15 from this morning, a personal best of 2:14, so I think more than capable of getting in and around his personal best time there if Usain can hold on. will be looking really strong, powerful kick, long and maximising that distance. Yushin's still looking in a great position. We've got Ivo on the outside there in third place, an entry time of 2:11.9, so more than capable of a big drop, depending if he's on form, but it's 1-2 currently for James Van Ooshin of Edinburgh University.
Yeah, not much of a change there in the lead, 4/100 separating them in that split for the previous 50, but James Wilby now will try and head for home to try and hold off the challenge of Usain Cook. Evo Cruz still in third position, but now being challenged by George Smith. George Smith may be moving into third, but Wilby has got enough left in the closing stages here, and he is going to come home in front. And it is going to be James Wilby going to win this one again, 2:12.03. Great finish from George Smith to take him into second place, and Usain Cook just maybe paid for that pace, as he is just beaten by Evo Cruz for third place. But no doubt about the winner, James Wilby. He was challenged by Usain Cook for a long period in that race, but really showed his strength in the last 50.
Yeah, he did indeed. Again, like we said, more than capable of dropping a few seconds as he did. I think Usain was unfortunate there. He looked so strong to that 150, but again, the lactic acid probably building just a little bit out of control. His rate went through the roof at the end there, and the other two just closed. But again, the other two have much faster entry time, so Usain just outside his personal best. I think it's a great performance overall.
Yeah, two good swims from Usain Cook in qualification and in that final as well. And James Wilby really showed his class.
Did indeed, and now we move on thick and fast as we have all evening to the 100 breaststroke female. Really looking forward to this one, Paul. Got an excellent junior and B final, and the super finals looking like a really one to watch for this evening.
Yeah, definitely one of the great races in prospect in this super final. But first of all, we have the juniors. Lane number 1, Leah Dalen Kataiti from Randaberg. Katie Coventry from Morpeth goes into Ava Jones, and Niamh Connery from Swim Ireland going 3 and 4. Perry Scobie from Stirling in 5. 2 from City of Glasgow in 6 and 7. That's Ellie Kennedy and Amy McLeod, and Lily Mundell from Heart of Midlothian, the youngster in the field at just 14 years of age. She goes in that outside lane, lane number 8. So in the early stages, well, not much to choose between them. Maybe Ava Jones from Swim Ireland in lane number 3, just edging it as they come to the turn.
Yeah, she's got a really good start there, taking full advantage off the walls. Breaststroke, the only event that you don't get DQ'd if you go past 15 off the start. You're actually allowed to go past 15. It's the only one. See some swimmers maximising that distance, but not many. Again, most really take as much as they can off the turn in particular, but that real balance between slowing down and keeping the pace going. It's a really good turn there for lane 5 and lane 4. Lane 5 in particular, really Perry doing a great job to come through.
Well, it's going to be very, very tight here. Ava Jones still very much in contention here in lane number 3. Niamh Connery as well in lane number 4. Looks like the 2 from Swim Ireland might just fight this one out at the front of the field. It's going to be 3 and 4. Who is going to get there? It is Ava Jones in 1:13.13 with Niamh Connery in second and Perry Scobie in third. Well, good swim from the 2 Irish swimmers there, Niamh Connery and Ava Jones. Big improvement from Ava Jones to take that one ahead of her teammate.
Yeah, huge, big drop from over there, and over a second from the heat. I think Niamh slightly disappointed maybe with a 1:12 from this morning, but still a strong performance backing up what was clearly a very fast heat swim compared to her entry times. Now we move on to the B final. 3 Edinburgh swimmers in this event.
Yeah, big representation from the home city. Anastasia Urbaniak from Thionville is due to go in lane number 1. She is there, just out of shot. Ashley Ransom from Hatfield in lane 2. The 2 from Edinburgh University side by side, Olwyn Cook and Anna Morgan. We have Amy O'Doyle from the National Centre of Limerick in lane number 5. Katie Goodburn from Edinburgh University goes in lane 6. Jana Spinner from University of Bath in 7, and Justine Brock from Thionville. 2 French swimmers in the 2 outside lanes. Justine Brock goes in lane number 8.
Well, Anna looked strong this morning. The 1:10.8, it was a good performance. Just missing out in that super final. She's good performance at Bucks. 6th. Would you hold that? But it's actually coming from the likes of lane 6. Katie Goodburn, again, renowned for her start. Electric first 15. See her in the 50s at this competition across the weekend. Really, really strong front end swimmer. She's good round the walls as well, so she's put herself in a great position here to potentially touch first or second. So it's going to be second just behind Anna. Anna again being a really strong swimmer, so you've got the technician of the start and the turns versus the swimmer through the water. It's going to be a great overall performance for the Edinburgh swimmers. Put themselves in a great position. Anna just slightly stretching through. Katie Goodburn still in a great position up there.
Edinburgh University doing very well. They're certainly 1 and 2. They might be 1, 2, 3 because Alwyn Cook coming through in lane number 3. But watch out for Emir Doyle as well for the National Centre of Limerick, pulling up alongside Katie Goodburn. But Anna Morgan, I think, will take this one. Anna Morgan will be a clear victor here. Anna Morgan will take it. It will be Cook, I think, in second, and Emir Doyle just getting ahead of Katie Goodburn. So just stopping the Edinburgh 1, 2, 3, but it is Edinburgh 1 and 2. Anna Morgan a 1:10.40, another half a second improvement from the heat time.
It was a good drop, and about a second drop for Katie as well, so or about half second drop there. So that was good performance from both of them. Good performance overall for the top 4. Again, everyone dropping from their respective heat times, but now we move on to the super final. Looking forward to this one, Paul. What we're thinking, it's going to be a tough one, I think, in the centre lanes.
Should be an absolute cracker, this one. Lily Booker will lead them out. She will go in lane number 1. Imogen Clark, well, she will be a threat. She goes in lane number 2. Watch out for her in the first 50, especially Leah Slosson from City of Leeds. I won't discount her. Cara Hanlon, well, Scottish record holder Cara Hanlon goes in lane number 4, and next to her, Howard Evans from Stirling University. Will be a real threat. The Bucks champion, Howard Evans. Ellie McCartney from Swim Ireland goes in 6. National Centre of Dublin swimmer Niamh Coyne in 7, and Anna Droffelaar from the team from the Netherlands going in lane number 8.
Yeah, we've got the speed merchant of Imogen Clark in lane 2, definitely one to look out for. But Cara Hanlon and Ingrid Evans in lane 4 and 5 respectively. Cara's been on great form, coming off a really strong performance at Bucks, as has Ingrid Evans, and yeah, I think it's all to play for here. But Cara was a 67.67 from this morning, a really excellent heat performance, put herself in a brilliant position, really showing the rest of the field where she's at and what she's about here, and let's see if she can back it up this evening, Paul.
Great time from Cara Hanlon. Scottish record stand at just a second or so faster than that, 106.36 for Cara Hanlon. And should be a real close tussle. Watch out for Imogen Clark going there in lane number 2.
Yeah, well, the tables were turned because Ingrid Evans actually won the Bucks Championships a few weeks ago, and Cara was just outside the medals, but she's coming back with a redemption here this evening so far. She's putting herself in a great position down this first 50. Again, not known for her start, she's an excellent swimmer, but she'll come back blistering through in the style that she does. So at the moment it is lane 4 and 5 of Cara and Ingrid Evans respectively coming down this first 50, Paul.
Yeah, Imogen Clark right there in contention as well. She did lead, but Howard Evans just getting the touch there as they go through the turn. Cara Hanlon now having to play a little bit of catch up here, and Howard Evans is looking very good as she came off that turn. Cara Hanlon now trying to come back. Imogen Clark now just being caught there by Leah Slosson, but it is an excellent swim here from Howard Evans, and she is going to stay ahead of Cara Hanlon, I think. Hanlon trying to come back, but Howard Evans is going to take this one here in Edinburgh. It will be Howard Evans, and look at that, 106.25 What a great time for Ang Howard Evans, and that is very close to the British record held by Molly Renshaw. Just 4/100ths outside that British record. Such a good swim for Evans, and the time for Cara Hanlon, 106.90. What a great pair of swims at the front of the field there.
I mean, absolutely, a huge drop from Cara from her heat, but an enormous drop from Ingrid Evans there. I mean, my goodness, she was a 107.2 on an entry sheet. That's over a second drop potentially in her personal best there, Paul. That was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, my goodness, what a turn of events.
106.25, 4/100ths outside the British record held by Molly Renshaw, as I said, and only Cara Hanlon just half a second outside her own Scottish record as well. So bang on form as they move into these Olympic trials. That's going to be a cracker in London.
Well, what I would say is both of them have made big drops from bucks 3 weeks ago, and now again a big drop. I think it's heating up to be an absolutely fantastic head-to-head at trials in 3 weeks' time. So, well, that was electric, Paul. So thoroughly enjoyed that. Excellent to see an Edinburgh University swimmer doing so well. Now we move on to the 200 IM, the final event of this evening session. We'll start with the junior final.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're at the final event. It's been a quick night, I think.
As indeed.
They've kept us going, event after event. 200 IM final. Matthew Scott from Newcastle goes in lane number 1. Thomas Traynor, East Kilbride into Theo Mulvey from Ville France in 3. Evan Gallier-Michon, Ligue Avere in from France in 4. Logan van der Meulen from Stirling goes in lane number 5. Rhys Blackett from Newcastle in 6. Jack Docherty-Simpson from City of Glasgow in 7. And Logan Mulhall-Reid goes in lane number 8 from Warriors of Warrington.
Yeah, well, it's Evan Gallier-Michon that's really taking advantage of that 50 butterfly, but Logan up in lane 8 there. Logan Mulhall-Reid. That was an excellent first 50. Again, it's interesting to see the split across the 200 IM. You'll see all sorts of changing and shifting going across, particularly on the breaststroke leg, as again you'll see a couple of specialists coming through. And again, you'll look across the pool here, and there's quite a disparity in that first 100 so far. And we'll wait and see as they flip round that cross turn that you'll see. Classic cross style in the 200 medley event as they switch from the backstroke to the breaststroke. But it's still Evan pulling forward here, still in a great position, and just hanging on to second place is Logan up in lane 8. But the middle lane's starting to close now. Some of the breaststrokers coming through, like we thought, Paul.
Yeah, as you would expect, Logan van der Meulen making a little bit of a move. I saw Jack Docherty-Simpson have a very good fast finish the last 100 in the qualification heats, but he's a little bit off the pace now, so he's got a little bit of work to do. Jack Docherty-Simpson up there in lane 7. But it is Evan Gallier-Michon from Ligue Avere who will lead them through, and Logan van der Meulen had a big breaststroke there, and that's brought him right back into contention, the Stirling swimmer. And I wonder what he can do on this freestyle. I'm not sure if he is going to catch the Frenchman in lane number 4, but he's not giving up. Logan van der Meulen trying to make a last burst here to the front of the field, but it is going to be Evan Gallier-Michon, I think, who's going to have enough, around about half a body length in it, and it is Gallier-Michon, 2:10.12, a slight improvement from his heat time. Logan van der Meulen also improved his heat time in 2:11.07, and Theo Mulvey in third place, 2:11.83, just about catching van der Meulen, but not quite. So it is the two French swimmers in 1 and 3, split by Logan van der Meulen from Stirling.
Yeah, good performance overall. Evan led that start to finish really, Paul. You know, put himself in a good position off the start and just took control at the end. So good performance overall. Decent drop from the heat to final. Now we move on to the B final as we progress through the penultimate final of the night.
It is indeed. One junior swimmer in this B final, Evan Davidson from Perth City, a 17-year-old, has made it into the B final alongside the seniors. And those seniors are Isaac Dodds from University of Bath going in lane number 1. We have Niels Dijkshorn from Team Netherlands in 2. Jay Manners, Derwentside in 3. Sam Williamson, University of Bath in 4. We have 3 Stirling University swimmers: Josh Press, Angus Allison and Pierce Greening. They go in 5, 6 and 7, and as I said, the junior swimmer Evan Davidson with that red cap of Perth City up there in lane number 8. So again, promises to be a close one. I think the fastest 4 swimmers all in the 2:08 range, and there's also 3 swimmers in the 2:09 as well. So it's going to be a very close contest here in this B final of this 200 individual medley.
Absolutely. I mean, Josh Press actually was really close to his entry time from this morning, as was Sam Williamson, actually personal best time to get into the middle lane. Angus Allison, though, is capable of a 2:03, so we'll see according to the entry sheets if he's there or thereabouts, but as it stands, it's Josh Press who's come through in that first strong 50 butterfly. Angus Allison's an excellent breaststroker, so see him come through in the third 50, but right now it is Josh Press that's holding in a good position. Again, good strong loping backstroke. Needs to get as much of a lead as possible if he's going to hold off a potential Angus Allison and Sam Williamson in the breaststroke legs, and then they'll come through. Here we, as we flip into
this. Job, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
59.29. Josh Press has increased his lead. Isaac Dodd's coming through into second there under the 1 minute mark, closest to us in lane number 1. And the breaststrokers here will try and come back, Jack, and as you said, here they come. Sam Williamson doing well. Angus Allison coming through really strongly on lane 6 there.
Yeah, as you'd expect, Angus Allison's an excellent breaststroker, as is Sam Williamson. So it's again, but Josh has put himself in a great position to be holding on here, and he is indeed, and it's all to play for. The field has closed significantly on him. Angus Allison coming through blisteringly quick there in a 35.8 for that 50 breaststroke, but he's still got plenty of work to do as Josh is holding, if not stretching. He's got Angus just above. He's going to be pushing him hard all the way into the finish here, Paul.
Yeah, very good turn there to maintain that lead for Josh Press. Sam Williamson trying to come back, Angus Allison trying to come back. Allison really strong in the closing stages here. Is he going to nick this one from Josh Press? Angus Allison maybe into the wall first, is he? He is in 2:07.02, and Josh Press, well, he led for, well, almost up to the 199 metre mark there. But in the 200 metre, it was Angus Allison who took the touch. Josh Press in second and Sam Williamson in third. They really came back in the second half of that one.
It's the breaststrokers coming through, like we said, Paul, but both Sam and Josh, they're under their entry times by significant margins there, so it may well be personal best times. We can never assume with the entries, you never know, but
absolutely,
you'd like to think it's personal best times. They're big drops underneath, so let's go with that.
Yeah, let's give them the benefit here. So Ben Twynham leads out this super final, the final super final of the evening, the first night of action here in Edinburgh. We have Ben Twynham from Derby Excel, as I said, Tony Joe Trett Oliver from Stirling University, Joe Litchfield from Loughborough Performance, and here is Duncan Scott, big support for him in the crowd, the Stirling University swimmer, Thomas Janssen from Team Netherlands in lane 5, and 3 from Stirling Uni complete the lineup. Evan Jones in 6, Jack McMillan in lane number 7, and Andrew Bertolli in lane number 8. So 200 metres individual medley. Well, Duncan Scott will be very much the favourite for this one. He goes in lane number 4 with an entry time of 2:04. He's very capable, as we've seen in the major competitions, of going well under the 2 minute mark.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Duncan's the Olympic silver medalist in this event from Tokyo with a personal best time of a 1:55.95. Absolutely blisteringly quick, and he'll have his sights set firmly on this event for the Olympics. He will be going in challenging for the medals at the Olympic Games, and you know, these sort of events, you know, coming off the back of a 200 freestyle, you know, this is really pushing himself, and if the 200 freestyle of a 1:46.1 earlier this evening is anything to go by, he's clearly more than capable of dropping below that 2 minute mark this evening with a 2:04 from the heats, clearly just cruising through, doing what he needed to do. In that centre lane, Joe Litchfield capable of a 2 minutes .2 as well. Again, what sort of form he's on we'll see, but I think it will very much come from the centre lanes in this final, Paul.
Yeah, Litchfield with the red cap there in lane 3. Duncan Scott 1 lane up from him in the bottom of those 2 yellow marked lanes. Thomas Janssen from Team Netherlands as well, also capable of a fast IM swim, just about the 2-minute mark. But Duncan Scott, he's really come on in the 200 IM. We didn't really regard him as an individual medley swimmer in his early days in his career, more of a freestyler, but now we were saying in the live stream this morning, he doesn't really have a weak stroke in the 200 IM.
No, well that's the thing. I mean, at the top level, the IMers don't really have a weak stroke. It's just a slightly slower stroke in comparison to their teammates or their competitors. So Duncan's breaststroke in recent years has come through extremely fast. He's done some astonishing swims at the ISL prior to COVID, and even during sort of the short course distances, a 57 in a relay, for example, at ISL short course and 100 breaststroke. So again, more than capable of a really blisteringly quick breaststroke leg, and he's really stretching out his lead here. 55-0 split, put himself in a great position for a sub 2 minute swim in this event this evening. It'd be great to see pulling away from the rest of the field. As I said, his breaststroke's been really strong in recent years, and yeah, it looks like the Duncan show so far. It's going to be a close second and third battle though from Evan Jones. Again, Evan's a great younger prospect coming through in the Scottish individual medley. It's going to be challenging for the second place here. Again, he's a good freestyler, but as is Joe, so it's going to be a really hot battle for that second and third spot, Paul, as we come into the final 50. But I think the leader is clear at this stage.
I think he might be. Duncan Scott away and heading for home, and looking like he's going to be a sub 2 minute swim here. Another great swim. We saw an excellent swim in the 200 freestyle, and we're going to be followed up with an excellent swim in the IM as well. Joe Litchfield just coming through to challenge Evan Jones now for second, but here is Duncan Scott. We'll keep an eye on the clock. Another sensational swim from Duncan Scott. Look at that time, 157.73, and that is a meet record here at the Edinburgh International. A great way to finish the day one action for these finals. Duncan Scott with the fastest time we've seen at the Edinburgh International in its entire 25-year history.
Yeah, my goodness. I mean, there was me saying it'd be great to see a sub 2 minute swim. Again, I think I was eating my words earlier as well. I said it'd be great to see a sub 148 swim, and he's done the exact same thing again. He dropped it considerably below what we thought he would, so that was brilliant. And what's said, I mean, Joe Litchfield had a great performance there in a 2:01. That's not to be sniffed at in the grand scheme with an entry time of a 2 minute point. But Duncan Scott, what a fantastic swim, and great position to put him in for trials in a few weeks' time. And well, that's us thick and fast come to the end of things.
Yeah, Duncan Scott very much. A couple of the highlights tonight. Meet record, of course, as well from Oliver Morgan, who looked good. Had some great close races. Those 200 butterfly for women was a cracker, wasn't it, Jack? And also that 100 breaststroke for women. Some fantastic times we've seen tonight.
Oh, it's been brilliant. Even in the 50 fly, Jesse Poots pulling through again, a great performance. It's been some really high caliber, high FINA point, just fast racing across the board. It's been an excellent opening final session to the Edinburgh International, the 25th anniversary, and we've got another 2 full days of racing to come.
Well, thank you very much for your company tonight, Jack, and you'll be back on the stream tomorrow night, I think, for tomorrow night's finals.
I will indeed.
So please join us for that tomorrow night. And first of all, of course, we've got the heats in the morning, so get up nice and bright and early on a Saturday morning to join us at 8:25 for the next session. So for now, from day one of the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2024, it's good night.